Yo, that did hit.
It do.
That did hit. What is this? Trinity and Impact?
Oh, that's breaking news.
The fuck?
Allegedly, according to Fightful, your girl may have a done deal with Impact.
I don't
So
like
the
it.
breaking news is there's speculation that Trinity might have signed with Impact. That's what y'all telling
Oh,
me?
that's what it looks like.
Wait, you don't like it? Why not?
No. I'm saying, is that what y'all telling me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing it too. Shout out to Matt for dropping that in.
Hey
But
Matt, welcome to fan club.
PW Insider saying will make an Impact debut this Friday. They did say that would be a huge debut. It has
What?
been confirmed that it's not a one night appearance. That it's the beginning of her first run of Impact. I literally just scrolled through.
Oh my god. Well, if that is true, big congrats to Trinity, formerly known as Naomi. That is very exciting news. I know we've been pretty vocal about Impact, but at the end of the day, the women division over there is one that I would never scoff at. And, we support our queens on this show. We support our queens on those wrestling girls. Like, we are all the way here for all those opportunities and learning there is a world outside of WWE, which is so it's me, Queen PR. Welcome back to TWG Fan Club. Yes, wrestling is always multitasking. Everyone on this show is always multitasking. Welcome back to TWG Fan Club, our weekly women's wrestling fan club. We talk wrestling, we recap shows. Today we're getting into one of my favorite shows of all time. Probably that's probably a bit much, but I'm excited about today's topic. But first off, how are you guys doing? You
I'm
guys
good. Yeah, it's a Wednesday, best day of the week. Very excited about this show because, to be honest with you, I've never got a chance to talk Total Divas on any platform, and as somebody who's been a fan of those wrestling girls for what's this, 4 years, 5 years now, is this the best place to do it? Because I've seen, I've heard the discussion on, the podcast and stuff. So I'm excited to talk about it because, like I said, and at that time I didn't have a podcast when it was hot. So, it was never, and then, most dudes don't want to admit that they was watching it at the time. So I would literally talk
I was
about
watching.
it.
That part.
Yeah. So I would talk about like my women friends and here and there, but I'm excited that we're going to break this down and cover it.
Justin, did you watch back in the day?
So, first off, we feeling fantastic. We got the Knicks a game away from going to the second round in the NBA playoffs.
Let's go Knicks. Can we get a clap for the Knicks though? Those that don't know, we're New Yorkers, so we're very proud.
We also got the Rangers doing work in the hockey playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs. So we got both our teams up in there doing work. Now the Total Divas, like Brian said, like we can't really admit as guys like we would actually watch Total Divas and aka Total Bellas, aka some of the other programmings on the WWE network and other platforms, but I would turn into Total Divas. There was times where it's like, yo, Total Divas is actually more popping than Monday Night Raw or SmackDown right now.
Facts.
And then like,
is that an unpopular opinion or a popular opinion?
At that time,
that's a popular opinion because there was times where Raw was like, you gotta remember that was the time of the Authority, and like the half hour we're gonna open Raw with Triple H and Stephanie cutting these half-hour promos where it's just like, for fuck's sake, can y'all just hurry to wrap it up, wrap this shit up, or like, wait, we only got like a 2-minute women's match, but I gotta watch Ryback for the 19th time. Yeah, let me go pull up Total Divas.
Feed me more.
Oh,
no,
man.
thank you.
P, real quick, I gotta ask you this. So I know WrestleMania 29 was your favorite. I mean, not your favorite, your first. And you you wasn't into the product, but you was there. What was your thoughts when you see now? Obviously, you see Mark Henry, you remember him. and then you
Yeah.
seen Ryback, and then did you like look at like who is this guy, and then like later on, seeing how he would turn out on social media, like did you have any thoughts about him?
Mhm. No, honestly, I didn't. I really like
Okay.
he didn't really make an impression on me, to be honest with you. But then when I look back and it's like, oh, okay, typical shit, overpushed to you know what I'm saying? Like, and then he ends up being like a shitty ass person on Twitter. So
You
I
know
guess it's
you
the usual drill.
you bad when you fail as a Paul Heyman guy. Like even Paul Heyman get him over.
Ooh.
And
That's you, bro.
You did the impossible.
right.
Paul Heyman is the elixir.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Thank you, Vaughn. I do love this jacket. It's one of my favorites. Buckline
Is that
jacket. Thank you. Thank
which
you.
wrestler is that?
This would be the Sasha Banks one. It says legit boss on the back.
Ooh, aka Mercedes, aka the CEO that wrestled this past weekend.
Yes. Shout out to Mercedes. We love Mercedes Monet on this show. And once again, congratulations to Trinity. If the Impact news is true, I'm very excited because Mercedes Monet got me watching New Japan. Trinity gonna have me watch Impact regularly. Once I figure out how to watch that shit, I'm tuning in to Impact.
That's the issue. Because you used to be watching on Twitch, and I would, I literally downloaded Twitch to my PlayStation just so that I could watch Impact Wrestling. But now it's on Axiom or something like that. We don't get that down here in Baltimore.
I mean, if y'all know in the chat which channel we can watch Impact on, please let us know. Because
let us know how do you guys watch Impact. Please let us know because we will tune in. Yes, Mercedes Monet is arguably the best wrestler in the world. I 100% agree with you. I just also want to welcome back some of our loyal members of the fan club, Rakarsha, Vaughn, Matt. I'm sure some of our other regulars will be joining us. Okay, so I guess YouTube TV is somewhere that we can possibly watch Impact. Rakarsha said clips on Twitter. I mean, that is usually how I stay, updated on Impact because I do appreciate a lot of the women that are on there, including, Mickey James and all them.
Here's the problem, Rakarsha. The only time I ever see clips on Twitter is when it's either a major pay-per-view or something big happens, like the Mickey James thing. Otherwise, if it's just like the weekly stuff, I never see it across my timeline.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, hence, that's why Impact to me is like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, they always done women's wrestling right, with their knockouts division. And if we be real, like they found a way to keep them, like to make their matches important, but also like let the women be as sexy as they want to be. So they could wear whatever they want to wear, go out there, sell the calendars. But when that bell rang, it was on point. I will always talk about Gail Kim and Awesome Kong, some of the best women's wrestling matches you ever could see. And they were main eventing. And it wasn't just because they were women. It was because it was the best story. So I just hate the fact they don't have like a great TV deal. But if we're being real, you look at it like, man, they've been around longer than WCW. So
good point. Very good point. And the women, they have you, and you can never say that there's not talent at Impact. Like there have been some of the most talented wrestlers have went through Impact at some point. So I would never discount that. And Trinity could be the flagship, that star that moves the needle. We've seen it with, Mercedes, and Trinity can be that next person because she has fans that want to see her in the ring and they will tune in. So congrats to Impact. We'll definitely be, covering it in the fan club. Follow us everywhere on social media. We will definitely be keeping up with Trinity. Shout out to her. We have a lot going on. So Saturday, Krista B and I are going to be going live with a London-based wrestling podcast called Rest Things. So they're based out, really, really cool. It's like these 4, like the nicest guys ever. I was able to meet them in LA at the Super Kickback event and panel. They were there and I was able to meet them, and they are awesome. I've always loved their content. They always bring the knowledge and the quality. Lifelong wrestling fans just like us, and they get together and they talk wrestling. So we are going to be streaming with them on Saturday.
What
We're going to be
time
at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Because they're in London, so I think it'll be like 3 or 4
It's like
Eastern.
afternoon, early evening
Yeah.
for them over there. I just know that because I watch a lot of Premier League soccer. So
Oh
usually
yeah,
Right.
like at the game starting at like 2 in the afternoon here, it's usually like 8, 9 o'clock over there.
yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, so that'll be really
Programming
really
alert.
Yes, it'll be really, really different. We'll be streaming from both of our channels, and it's always good to expand that Black wrestling community because we're everywhere. We're even across the pond. So hopefully that's the start of a lot of different collaborations. Krista B has some things in store as far as bringing more guests like that on the show. So stay tuned. Our Patreon is popping as per usual. It's the only place that you can get Krista B sound off playbacks. And she goes live every Friday with Christina, and she does a live sound off. And if you're not able to make it, you can actually still tune in $1 a month on our Patreon. So please support it. There's a lot on there. There's articles, there's exclusive interviews, there's WrestleMania week content that we have not shared anywhere else but on our Patreon. It's $1 a month. It's a great way to support. Shout out to Dylan.
My
he
guy.
is absolutely family. Speaking of our wrestling community across the world, Dylan joins us from Australia. What time is it again there? Let us know. We love keeping you company
The
at
land
work.
down under where they headbutt kangaroos and shit.
Yeah. Colt, what channel are you referring to? As far as, is it Impacts? I think that's
No,
like
I think it was talking about rest things.
Oh, Rest Things. Yeah, that's the name of it. I will post a link in the comments. And thank you, Vaughn. And it's more just like a collaboration stream. And that was one of the really good things about traveling for WrestleMania is you really meet everyone from all around the world. And wow, it's 9:17 a.m. It's tomorrow. It's the
Kicking
future.
his morning off.
Wow.
It's the future. But yeah, definitely we will catch you on Saturday. You'll get to meet them. You'll get to ask them all the questions you want to ask them. We're really excited about that. We got Thirsty Thursday coming up in a couple weeks. Tentative guests, Talk of Champions. If you don't know Stan Michael and Shantice, they are hilarious and we love them. They are New Yorkers, so we see them like all the time at Battle Club Pro shows. So we will be chopping it up with them.
Yo, I am marking out right now.
What's up?
Battle Club Pro last year, Stan Michael. When he sang in Miles Hawkins' fist,
that was
I will never try. I will never disrespect Stan because I can't hit those vocals. But when he sang last year,
so good,
man. Look, y'all already know. I've been saying the match I want to see is Stan Michael and Jay Bougie. Like that's a dream match for me personally, right?
So good.
And then I want to see them like do like Dusty and Cody. I want to see them like have the match, and then I want to see them team up and then just dominate. I know I like them booked it, but yeah, I'm marking out Talk of Champions and those wrestling girls. Thirsty Thursday. I'm pulling up with my cup and I'm sitting back watching, chilling.
Yo, that is gonna be so funny because they are both fucking characters. And who knows? It's Thirsty Thursday. We might have some surprise guests come along with Talk of Champions. Who knows? You got to stay tuned. That's our monthly party. We stream it everywhere. You come with your drink, water, champagne, coffee, tea, whatever the fuck you want to drink. I'm usually sipping champagne.
Oh. You fancy.
So
you got the pinky out when you drink it.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm the best bartender in the world. Shout out to Letty because she always makes sure I'm good.
Letty.
For Thirsty Thursday. Shout out to her. We have so many things brewing as far as like the summer going into our 5th anniversary is concerned. And that's literally all I have to say about that. Hi, Andre.
What up?
Oh my gosh, shout out to Mike. And yes,
Mike.
Letty is goated for sure. We love Letty. But yeah, so definitely stay tuned. We definitely want to thank all of you again for helping us become Twitch affiliates. It was a goal that we've had for a very long time, and I had this vision. I was like, I want to focus on Twitch. I want to have a Twitch exclusive show, and that was Fan Club, and it really has grown to be so much. And Fan Club has evolved so much to finally what I've always wanted to be. Yes, I love my Terramana. I love my Terramana.
We talked about that today. Did y'all know The Rock had an energy drink too?
I didn't know that.
Zoa?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It's
I knew about his athleisure brand.
Yeah. Ben was shaming Cal and I because we didn't know about it. And I said, well, of course I knew about Terramana. It got me through LA. But I didn't know about
Terramana is not an energy drink, sir.
I know that. He said, yeah, Zoa. And then, you know, people on Twitter was coming for my neck about it.
Yeah, he's got Zoa. Zoa's pretty good. It's more acquired taste stuff.
Okay.
I love Prime. Once I got
like
Prime and figured out where it's at, especially the blue raspberry, the energy drink and the hydration, Prime is
and
legit.
apparently it's hard to find because I found it like that, but I found it like the in the hood. And I don't think they drinking Prime over there.
Even here in Northern Virginia, it's a very hot commodity. Like I had to drive places to be
I see it all the time, but I didn't know that it was his.
Okay, was Zoa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I didn't know that was like The Rock's.
Yo, the amount of money that we could have made if we would have took some of the Prime from the CVS in LA when me, you, and Krista was walking around. Because apparently it was so hard to find. And people was going on eBay selling it.
Yeah, like I remember when I was looking for the energy drinks, I had to go all the way out to my mom's place and go like different places because they were like very hard to find. And like, yo, you gotta go to this store, you gotta go to that store, and then you just see like the entire shelf just sold out. But then the more you go like west towards like the Appalachians, they had stores that just had it just like in a damn like big ass fridge, just like Prime stuff. I was like, I am taking all of this shit. Looked at me like, what the hell's like, bro? You do not understand. A, this shit is good, and B, it's hard to find.
Oh wow! But yeah,
I like what Andre said.
Yeah, shout out to Logan Paul and KSI because that's their baby. Prime.
That's their baby, and I'm all for the hustle. Like if you have the brand to sell shit, fucking do that shit. And they had the biggest commercial at WrestleMania that Prime could ever fucking have.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's good.
Good
like
for
the hydration drink is basically like a Gatorade but sugarless and healthier. And the energy drink is like if Red Bull and C4 had a baby, but was like better for you.
Oh, okay. Wait, so Dylan, why was Prime banned in Australia? I'm so curious. $20 a pop. Wow. I'm sure people was probably bootlegging that shit and all of that. Oh, wow.
Bootleg it.
You know what happened.
They
Shit
like
is
Franklin
like
saying,
popular.
like, I got that Prime. I got that Prime.
It's like a colorful ass bottle with black writing. Like I could put anything in a fucking bottle and sell that shit. Thank you, Mike. I love this jacket too. Bling, bling, bling. I literally saved this for Hollywood because I knew I was gonna be hanging out with celebrities, like Brian.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I gotta make sure
like that guy up there.
I'm listening. Yeah. Him.
I'm no celebrity.
Gator boots with the Sasha code.
There you go.
No time because she's still fly.
Nah, you gotta write the other one.
Our music producer for sure.
Y'all not ready for me to give a 16 on that.
No, that joke was funny. I read it in your voice, and I popped.
See, this is why anyone can rap, because when you go back to the big timers, shout out to Manny Fresh and Birdman. Yeah, like Manny Fresh, excellent producer. Can't rap worth a damn.
Whoa.
Can't
I
rap
mean, he got some
worth a damn.
fire verses.
I don't stand by Cash Money slander. Let's start the show.
I mean, Cash Money had hits. That's undeniable. But if we're talking bars,
I don't give a darn about bars. Let's talk about work rate. I want the hits. That's why I like Drew Hill better than Boys to Men.
Yeah, both.
I want the hits, but I'm like Bret Hart too. I need in-ring work. I need you to put some like lyrics down, not this nursery. I woke up, now I go sit down, do your thing. Like, what the fuck is this shit? But
hey,
yeah, it's number one. So I mean, that beat was knocked. So it was like, yo, Manny Fresh, yes. Production's undeniable, but the lyrics for some of them was just like, what is this Mickey Mouse A B C D E F G shit I'm listening to?
We gotta start the show.
So stupid. Okay, so we're going to go on break and we're gonna get into our fan club agenda tonight, which was all about Total Divas, reality TV. Does it have a place in the world of wrestling, and all of that?
What up, it's your boy Blue Magic from the Mix Tag Show and also owner of For Your Wear. Now, I know you've seen the announcement from some of your favorite podcasters, and soon you'll see some of your favorite wrestlers too. I decided to expand my business to be a vendor.
So, what's up? What's your name?
Justin.
Krista B. Ebony.
My name's Vaughn.
It's Lawrence from 2.5 Bros. You know your favorite whole host, Mr. Hitter with the wee wee. Sean.
Who do you want to fight, or who do you think that you could beat in a wrestling match?
The Miz.
Why?
Because I know.
Is that it?
Yeah, I got hands, that's why.
I pick Spike Dudley. That's an easy match for me.
I mean, Spike, he did some shit though. Like, you really can't.
Nah, that's a fact. No, but I was smoking though. Me, personally, I was smoking. But like other people.
Simple. Rey Mysterio, kick his ass. It's like, damn. Who's that flying?
Baby, do it.
Sasha Banks.
Why?
I'll beat that bitch up.
God damn.
That's why his Louis is 619. You don't know which area code he's in. Is he in the 212? Is he in the 619?
I'll beat her.
Why though?
Yeah,
You just
Brooklyn.
hey. You feel me?
Damn, I was gonna say Brock Lesnar.
I like the confidence. Like just.
He's on some type of alcohol. He said Brock Lesnar. He's wilding like this wasn't in the octagon or some shit.
A wrestling match. You said a wrestling match, but definitely in a boxing match, I'm working Brock Lesnar. I'm working like, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. In a real boxing match with gloves and everything, yeah, fuck with me, bro.
Hey,
I'm taking Zack Ryder. I'm going easy. Easy W. He from Long Island. I'm in Brooklyn. Son, what's up?
That's it. Yeah.
The person I feel like that I could probably take on and beat in a match is definitely Emma. Emma came back. She did her thing, but I could take her.
Okay. Tell the people all your information for.
Make sure that you guys follow those wrestling girls everywhere: Twitter, IG, Facebook. Join our discussion group. Subscribe to our YouTube. Subscribe to our Patreon. You can follow me, Miss Krista B, MS_KRISTAB_, and on Twitter, Miss_Krista B.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm out of here.
But definitely in a boxing match, I'm working Brock Lesnar. I'm working like, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you.
I love that video. It makes me laugh every time.
Apologies to Rey Mysterio. I had no business being like, y'all should just kick his ass. I'll go to fucking Australia.
Oh my god, yo, I love that. Shout out to the Colton show. That's our friend Colton. He does that show at parties. It's the best and most fun thing ever.
Down to
so
earth
shout out to
dude,
him.
man.
That shit was a vibe. Salute.
Such a vibe. Follow him at the Colton Show. So I'm glad we played that ad because we always talk about the end when Krista B does her legendary sign off and all of that stuff. So as you've noticed, all of the crew is not here. Seindole is on her birthday vacation in she's on her birthday vacation. So she's not here. But we got to have our fourth member of the club. So we have a very special guest.
Is that someone's music?
CRISTA B. Hey, boo.
Hey, me and my bougie cup. Hey.
Oh, I love the bougie cup. The bougie cup.
Ma'am. Friend.
Hey,
What
friend.
up?
Hi, y'all.
Hey, girl.
Hey.
So before we get into
in the kitchen cracking up when Justin was talking about Rey Mysterio, I was
every time, yo, every time.
Every time, I'm like, Justin,
Fling 'em.
not Rey.
You put a mic in
he
front
did
of
the
me,
gesture and
shit just
everything.
comes
Like he
out
had
of the
to
mouth
show us
sometimes.
what he
It
meant.
was the drinks. We were lit. It was the drinks. It was the drinks.
It was definitely the
Here's
drink.
the sad part. You don't even got to put drinks in me. It's just put a mic in front of me. It's like, yo, we're just going to go? All right, fuck it. What are we talking about?
Go to thosewrestlinggirls.com to see the photos.
Hey,
Yes,
y'all.
1,000%. Yes. So before we get into Total Divas and all of that, let's just settle this really quickly. I do like being a tweener. I don't like the Hugger Bailey thing. Okay.
We didn't say it was Hugger Bailey. We said it was a hybrid of Hugger and role model. Because there's times where you're Hugger and you're lovable, and there's times where you just want to beat a bitch's ass, and you step into role model Bailey.
That's what it. That's the tweener in you. Okay, that's literally the tweener. If you can have the epitome of a tweener, you will have Hugger Bailey and role model Bailey. Like people will be more. They'll be less intimidated walking up to you than they would be me.
Fact.
And that's the God honest truth. So, but then it's shut up, Brian. Except for you.
Whoa! I ain't even do nothing.
I thought you were gonna say, well, then no, you can be huggable. So I'm just like, yeah, no, not you. But then when it comes to, I'm gonna beat that's what you gonna do. That's when role models start come out. So you're a tweener. You just have to accept the tweener, but you lean more on the hugger side than the role model side. So can we accept it for what it is, please?
Yes, 1,000%. And Mike, I agree. I think this is definitely you. And Dylan, I'm gonna have to say you choose Violet 90% of the time. But sometimes you are very likable.
Me and Dylan on the same page, definitely straight up heel.
Oh yeah. But you're also like we fuck with you,
I mean, but how could you not? So that's like, how could you not? It's that part. Like, how could you not? But like I said, you're more approachable than I am. Like I will look at you and be like, I would just or my face would be so screwed, like not even screwed, like I'll just have my resting bitch face is real. Like
stop with the Bronx slander, Black Thoughts.
We're gonna do this again.
No, we're not gonna. I'm not in the mood again. I'm not in the mood to argue with the Bronx people in the building today. I'm not. I'm just here. I'm just here filling in for my good sis.
That part.
Joining the club, drinking my drink, and we're gonna have a good time. I am drinking mango punch juice mixed with Lobo's tequila.
Ooh, that sounds good. I love
it. I brought all these juices. You know when you was a kid, right? And you go food shopping, and your mama have all these juices in the refrigerator. And then, me, I don't really touch them unless I drink. So they sit in there. They was really for Chris, but he was just like, "Why you brought all these juices? Because you're the one I drink up my liquor."
Damn,
that sounds good. That sounds good, right? Damn. All right, so let's get into it. So we put out a tweet because last week Total Divas came up a lot for some reason. Because we were talking about I'm Her moments and Total Divas came up. So we were like, we should do a show about reality TV and the role it plays in the wrestling world. Because Total Divas is a very polarizing topic for a lot of different reasons, but it's not the first or only reality show that has been wrestling related. There's Tough Enough. There was Legends House on the network. There's, Total Bellas, Ms. and Mrs. AEW has a couple now. They got All Access. They had Roads to the Top. So reality TV and wrestling is not a new marriage, but it is a very polarizing topic because people feel like there's no place for it in wrestling. Then, someone like me who can advocate for what Total Divas has done. So did you guys watch Total Divas? Like, how do you guys remember when it premiered? Were you guys watching it in real time?
I remember when they. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I remember when the announcement came out, and around this time, we kind of knew, like everybody knew what was going on with like John Cena, Nikki Bella, same with Brie and Bryan Danielson. And I vividly remember one of my friends being anti-Total Divas, and his thought was, I just got this feeling they're gonna all be out to dinner, and John Cena and Daniel Bryan will be like, let's have a match, and that's how we're gonna get the match between them two. And I'm like, what? But what I did like about it was that you got an opportunity to like see behind the scenes. You really got to see the dynamic between, let's say, Trinity and Ariane. You got to see a JoJo who was just like I believe in Total Divas she was training and then transitioned.
She was training and then she ended up being a ring announcer.
Yeah, so that's what I liked. As somebody, like I said, being a fan of women's wrestling, you got to see like a lot of behind the scenes stuff. You really got to see Natalia, who I was always a huge fan of, just to see in the dynamic of her and TJ, which was, obviously that was fun and interesting. So yeah, I was a huge fan of it.
It's funny how we're sitting here talking about this because, like I said, when we came back from WrestleMania, my TikTok was full of wrestling stuff I've never seen before pre-WrestleMania. And a lot of it is clips of Total Divas. A lot of it is clips of Total Divas, clips of when I remember when Ariane and Naomi were having their issues and they broke up, and then they did their singles match and they came back crying because they were both they weren't at their best, and they realized that they missed each other so much. And in that moment I felt like, damn, what, God forbid me and P have to be like, yo, we can't work together right now. You do this, you do that, and we go do separate things, and we just realized, we can't have one without the other. Like, I'm just like the embarrassment. And then you got to see a different side, and WWE put it in is always on time when it comes to being included in something, because at this time we was having Love and Hip Hop, we was having whatever all them reality shows on VH1 was happening. So it was literally like we had Flavor of Love, I Love New York. We still had the Real World, we still had the Challenge. Like, so when WWE put out Total Divas and was like, all right, we're gonna make it seem like we're gonna show y'all. We might not show y'all the divas in the ring. We're gonna show y'all behind the scenes and what they do and how they think. So I do remember watching it when it first came out. And I was like, oh, something else is on E besides the Kardashians. And don't get me wrong, I used to love watching the Kardashians. You couldn't tell me I was not a Kardashian way back when. You could tell me now, and I'd be like, you're right. But way back when they would seem more normal, it was Total Divas and keeping up with the Kardashians. So yeah, I do remember.
when Clorenthal was on her like second face and not her seventh.
Yeah. Period.
Did you watch it, Justin? I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but
so for me, I came into it later, like somewhere between WrestleMania 30 and 31. It came across my TV, and I was just like, "What is this?" And I was like, "All right, let me give this a chance," because like KRISTA said, like, as love them or hate them, the Kardashians was an actual thing. That show was entertaining for weird reasons. I was more of a Scott Disick fan because Scott would always like read him for filth, and I was just like, yes.
You mean Lord Disick?
Is that really the Lord?
That's really his name now. He changed his
name.
He
got what is like some shit.
But
he got knighted. He got knighted.
I was say if he got knighted, then all right, Lord Disick. All right, but I remember we've talked about this in multiple fan clubs where like I didn't start watching wrestling again until WrestleMania 30. So this is what, like season 2-ish of Total Divas, because they already did like around WrestleMania 29 where their match got cut and whatnot. So somewhere along the line, I got into it. And I was just like, all right, I'll watch it, because at the same time, they weren't getting a lot of time on TV, whether it was Raw or SmackDown. I was like, why is it these women get more time here on Total Divas than they actually do in the actual ring when they're supposed to wrestle? Like, what's up with that? But then it evolved into something to where it's like, yo, I actually kind of care about the Bellas. Yo, I am invested in Trinity and John. I don't know why I'm invested in Natty and her pussy, but I'm here. We are here. But
sorry, what?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when she lost her cat?
I know, it just still sounds wild.
Like, wait a minute, like, I hope
have you seen
that.
Natty's pussy? And they were like, yo, we're gonna let that rock on TV. Yes, we are.
I mean, it's WWE. What's WWE in a reality show without some controversy?
But here's the thing, like over the years, you see how important it became for Total Divas because that's where fans really got attached to the talent and like, yo, I now know who Naomi is because of Total Divas, or I now know who the Bella Twins are. I know who Natty and Lana, and then WWE would actually use Total Divas to make matches. Like that actually happened around like between WrestleMania 31 and 32, where it's like, all right, we're gonna have Charlotte and the Horsewoman over here, and then we're gonna have this second match. Why are these two wrestling? Oh, because of Total Divas last week. You know, Natty and Summer Rae got into it, so now they're gonna have a match and stuff like that. So now you started to see where what happened on TV is now translating into the ring, and that's what's gonna let them have matches. And then going into WrestleMania 33 and even 34, where it's like, why are we getting Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax? Because both of them are on Total Divas, and now you're thinking, yeah, we can actually use this, put the title on them, have them show up on NBC Universal promos, walk the red carpet, have the crossovers for promoting this show and that show. And there were more fans that came back into wrestling because of just Total Divas and the reality show. And honestly, that was another reason why I stuck around, because I was like, all right, I'm not getting the women's wrestling on main TV, but this is entertaining as hell.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that you said that. So I got into it when I got the network, WWE Network, when it was like maybe in its like second or third season, and I watched that for like a couple of years before I even thought about watching WWE again. And like it was just like I just fell in love with all the characters, and that's how I was introduced to Naomi. I was introduced to Natalya and the Bella Twins. So that alone, I think, is something that should be talked about. So I want to bring up one of the many tweets that came in when we posted about unpopular Total Divas opinions. So Benji, who I just want to shout out real quick because he has been a day one supporter of those wrestling girls. He has followed
Benji
us probably literally since day one. So he says, can we pull up his tweet, please? Oh God, you're so right, Dylan. Don't worry, we'll get into all the Total Diva cast members, who some of our favorite ones are. We'll get into all of that because Renee actually hated being on Total Diva. She said it was one of the biggest mistakes she's ever made because she's a very private person. Her and her husband are notoriously private. If you follow her social media, it is very she doesn't dive in. So Benji says hashtag Total Divas was one of the most important things to happen to not even just women's wrestling, but pro wrestling in general. And people need to start giving it its respect. I was one of those people who hated on it until hashtag TWG fan club made me see the light. So what Benji's talking about is he's one of the many men that we had to kind of school on the Bella Twins, the Garcia twins, and some of the women on Total Divas because of the lack of respect that's given to them. And we have schooled many of times and kind of made them turn around and kind of give respect to the Bella Twins. They listened to our Bella Twins episode and was like, wait a minute, like I had them all wrong. And Benji's one of those people. So I'm glad that he did gain the respect for Total Divas. Do you guys agree with what Benji says? Is it one of the most important things to happen to women's wrestling and pro wrestling?
Yeah, I do. I agree with that because, like I said, at the time where Total Divas made its way on, you know, another network television thing platform, we were not seeing their abilities in the ring. We were only going by, you know, dirt sheets of what we saw, or when Twitter was sitting here talking and bashing them from way back when. We didn't take the fact that outside of wrestling, they are real people. They deal with their struggles. They're like every other person at a job. They fight for what they can. They fight to show their worth in the ring. And they also have, they go through real life stuff. They wanted to be married. They had fights. Some of them were married. It was talking about children. Some of them was having family issues. Like everything that we deal with is also something that they were dealing with. And sometimes we get that skewed, like that line skewed, because it's hard to see Nikki and Brie Garcia. I'm gonna say Bella for the sake of that's what they were on Total Divas. For Nikki and Brie Bella to actually have a life, like, oh, is this relationship between Brie and Daniel real, or John and Nikki real, or why did Trinity or Naomi in that mix tag go off on Jimmy Uso the way that she did, come to find out she was mad at him in real life and it placated into the ring. So it got us to get to know them a little bit better. Although they were still on TV, we got to see the human side of them. So I agree.
You don't get the women's revolution without Total Divas, because they also laid the groundwork and the foundation of trying to get more TV time and exposure. And you also got to remember, like, this show used to follow the Kardashians. And it's like we said, like, feel how you want to feel about the Kardashian Jenner family in general. They were a big ass deal at that time. And to follow that show to where it's like, all right, maybe we can keep some of these viewerships and have it translate to Total Divas. That allows you to build a connection with these women's wrestlers that when you do see them on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, you now have a connection. Now you have a reason to get invested in Brie Bella or Nikki Bella or Alicia Fox or the litany of other women, and even the men, because you also had the husbands and the boyfriends. You had Jimmy Uso, you had Daniel Bryan, you had Nikki's entire relationship basically with John Cena laid out. You have Natty and TJ and stuff like that, to where it allows you to build a bond with them, to where now when I go see them in person or when I go watch them on TV, I have a connection with them.
Right. And a lot of people talk about how WWE dropped the ball. You know, they did incorporate Total Divas in the storylines to a certain extent, but it didn't reflect in like the house shows. Someone tweeted like how, you know, people would watch Total Divas, fall in love with the cast members, and then go to a house show to see them, and there will be no women on the card. So, you know, it's such I think Total Divas is fascinating because it really just shows you the level of dedication they put towards the women, but also not. Because you putting it out there, because I feel like reality TV and WWE kind of marry each other. It's like fictionalized reality, pseudo reality, loose storylines, loosely based on real life. Like, I think it really just goes together. So yes, that's amazing. You're on E. You have a show on E. You have a reality show when reality shows were a thing. It's smart to get into that game. You also have the same producers as the Kardashians, which is huge. You know, it's also like, if you're going to produce a reality show, why not let it be produced by some of the best reality TV producers ever and the most successful reality TV show ever? So those are like the little things that are like really impactful. But then you hear things like, I then went to a show, but there were no women on the card. So it's very, you know, it's like, it just shows you like how WWE can be so imbalanced when it comes to that. But I do agree with Dylan. I do think it's pivotal to the women's revolution. I always felt that way. I always felt like 2013 was the year that it all kind of started, because Total Divas premiered, Paige got signed. Like, there's so many different things that like happened that year. So I totally agree with what Benji is talking about when it comes to that. And I know a lot of people that started watching wrestling again because of Total Divas, and a lot of women who I've spoken to women that know who the Bella Twins are. They know who Naomi is. They know who Natalya is. They have never watched wrestling before, but they're like huge fans of the show. I want to bring up Dylan's tweet that he sent in, because he talks about Renee Young or Renee Renee Young on the show. But I want to talk about the cast because that was very pivotal. Dylan says Renee Young should have been on longer. The show was a bigger catalyst for the women's evolution than people want to admit. In later seasons, it was just Total Bellas after Total Bellas was a thing. That is also true. But let's talk about Renee Young and the cast. Who was the breakout star of Total Divas?
Oh,
that's tough because a lot. So I was going through the tweets last night, and I was marveling at why it's important to have an ensemble cast and why it's important to have different types of women represented, because so many people said that each person in Total Divas was the star of the show. Some people said Natalya, some people said Trinity, some people said the Bellas, obviously. Some people said Lana. Who were some of your favorite cast members? Who was the star of the show? I want to hear everyone in the comments. Who was the star of Total Divas?
So here's my thing. I'm gonna go first. I don't think she was necessarily the star or the most liked or whatever, but everybody knew who Eva Marie was. Everybody knew. Red hair, purple hair, the issues with her, the issues with the divas not appreciate or not the divas not liking how she was being trained, or the issues with her family or whatever. Everybody knew who Eva Marie was. Even when she left to come back, oh, that's the girl who had the red hair, now she has purple hair. Oh, that's the girl who mistakenly, had a wardrobe malfunction, and now she carried it on to her next one, and it just didn't look good. Oh, that's the one who does a lot of fitness stuff. Whoever watched Total Divas, and oh yeah, of course, the Bellas, the mainstays, the Bellas, Natty, Natalia, sometimes Summer, because of the time she slapped Natty and broke her nose. But everybody knew who Eva Marie is. Whether you liked her or hated her, you knew who she was. She definitely stood out. So I'm gonna say Eva Marie. I don't know if she's my favorite. She definitely wasn't my favorite, but she definitely stood out.
I agree with that, because she hasn't done much out. Like, she was able to literally catapult her career from being a reality star, because she didn't do that much in WWE. Let's be real. I think she really, blossomed on Total Divas.
Yeah, I'm definitely. You said so many people were stars. One person sticks out to me is Nia Jax. You got to see a different side of her. Most of the time, like, if you think about, Nia has more personality than Tamina, but I feel like she would have been pigeonholed into that, Amazon Samoan character, right? But because of Total Divas, it was easier for us to see the storyline with her and Alexa Bliss going into WrestleMania 34, where she was bullied. And because you saw how she was, you saw her interaction. I remember thinking, like, man, she's annoying. When she had everybody, like, she coerced everybody to come, like, basically fix her house.
Oh, I was watching that clip too on TikTok. Let me tell you, I would have slapped. Okay, I love you, Sanaya, but girl, get professional.
You've been like Charlotte Flair.
And then wanted them to sleep on, like, air mattresses, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I would have left. I'd have been like, after you do this shit yourself, I would have left. Okay, I'll see you at work.
Yeah, so obviously, me being like, for me, it helped me really understand the difference between the Bella twins. Sure, I will watch them on Raw, but if we being real, no disrespect, but before Nikki got the boob job, if you wasn't paying attention, you really couldn't tell, right? I'm just being real.
No, that's true. That's true.
It's fair. It's like today where people still can't tell the Usos apart.
Well, they crazy, but I see what you're saying. Yeah, like before the hair, you couldn't tell.
Before the hair, you couldn't tell them apart.
Yeah, and that's how it was. But Total Divas, you really saw, like, whoa, they are two different women. Yeah, they twins, but they are two different women. And that's what I appreciate. You saw her, like, Brie and Brian are perfect for each other. Yeah, you really saw that through Total Divas. One of the things I always laugh at is Dolph Ziggler. I personally felt like, oh, he about to get buried now. He going at Nikki Bella while she's dating John Cena.
And he's trying to kiss her. Ciao.
Yeah, like, oh, you ain't never winning a world title. And I thought that because of the Total Divas.
I mean, but he shot his shot. He said for 3.
He wanted her back.
Hey, you want cards? I think cards.
He fumbled the bag. He fumbled the bag and wanted her back.
He said, I'll offer you whatever John is not offering you. I got you.
Like, you're going after the top guys, girl.
I don't see a ring on your finger, man. So boyfriend can always have an X in front of it at any point.
Yo, I really thought that was it for him. I'm being real. I thought that was it. I was like, this is it for his career. He's done.
Period.
Damn.
So what I'll add to this is you said
learned
because you said who was a star and who was the breakout star. So now I'm thinking about it where it's like, for me, the star was Nikki, but the breakout star was really Brie because Brie mode. This is where I found out. Oh, Brie mode is actually a thing, and then you get to see Brie mode and activate, and the shenanigans that she would get into, and why everyone in that locker room's like, "Yo, I can't wait for Brie mode to come out." It's just like this, and it was at a point in my time in my life where I was also turning it up. So it's like, oh shit. So out of the two, I was like, no, I would definitely hang out with Brie and we can go turn up. Nikki, you have fun with that.
I felt myself literally getting, like, watching them. I felt myself literally related more to Brie than Nikki, if that makes sense. Because I'm just like, I mean, I'm not a hippie. I wouldn't consider myself a hippie. But if there's times where I can, like, be chill and relax when it's time to turn up, I'm gonna turn up and not be, bougie as my cup says, then absolutely I'm gonna relate to Brie. But I don't know, for some reason I just really felt, maybe that was a time, a place, maybe because at that time I was in a different place in my life and I just felt like I'm Brie.
Yeah.
And Nikki comes, but the whole telling people off and this and the third, 100% me. I don't hold my tongue first. 100% me.
I did enjoy. I 100% agree with you, Justin. I think Brie was absolutely the breakout star because the attention, and we talk about it a lot on our show, is always placed on Nikki. So Total Divas was really a place for Brie to shine, and I think she is a little bit more relatable than Nikki is a lot of the times, especially when they compared. And things are over dramatized. Like, you really saw the differences between, like, the two relationships. For example, like Brie and Brian were like this like hippie, like they got married barefoot. They spend money on nothing. And then you got John and Nikki who were like living in a mansion and fucking rent a limo every weekend for date night and shit like that. So they really were able to like that happened. That was a thing.
And he bought her, and there was a clip where she had saw the Louboutin on her foot.
Wait.
Now, you said John Cena, and immediately what came to mind was like a couple years later where like Miz and Maurice are feuding with them, and like Miz intimidating John Cena. It's like, here are John Cena's rules. Rule number 239: no wear Louboutin.
I was like, and then it got to a point where I felt like certain parts of Total Divas were starting to become scripted. Because when you come up with the rules, and when you
that was true.
Like that, I know, but when we were starting to find out that these reality TV shows were not really reality anymore, it just carried on like, is this for real? Is he acting like this is for real? Because you gonna have 250 million thousand rules that I gotta buy. Nikki, leave. Buy. If you need help, blink twice.
Yep, that was definitely their relationship. So a fun fact, John Cena appeared on the show for free. He did not get paid to be on Total Divas. It was a favor to Nikki.
Really?
It was, yeah. So it's basically like obvious, relationships. It was really about a lot of the relationships. And I mean, John Cena being on it 100% helped it. It definitely helped Nikki's career. Dating John Cena absolutely helped Nikki's career as well. So he never got paid a dime. It was a favor that he did for Nikki. And he, obviously his number one choice wouldn't have to, be on reality TV, but he did it for her. And a lot of their relationship stuff was real. She actually talked about regretting putting a lot of it out there because, you really do put yourself out there for all kind of scrutiny and all that stuff. But I am an advocate for showing that relationship because it was going to be talked about regardless. Like you said, Brian, earlier, everyone knew that they were dating. He's literally the face of WWE. He was like on a meteoric rise at the time. So I think putting their relationship on TV kind of was smart because it was like, you know what, there's going to be a narrative everywhere anyway. It's only a win-win for WWE to showcase the relationship. Put a spotlight on Nikki at the same time, get a little John Cena rub. And I know people that talk about their relationship that have never watched WWE.
Yeah, because it was literally everywhere, especially towards the very end. Like when everybody saw like Nikki just break down because she realized like, yeah, I want to be a mom. I want to have kids, and you don't want that, and I'm sorry. And then John went on this press tour, talk about how much he loved Nikki, how he still wants to marry her, how he wants to have a family. And I'm like, how you want a family? You don't want kids. You want a dog and a cat? Like, you gonna give her what you want? You gonna compromise with her? Like, so yeah, it definitely. I mean, I believe that a lot of it was real because I don't believe anybody will go on national TV and compromise their love for the other person and show it all out for the world to see. Of course, you're going to face scrutiny because everybody's relationship is different. Nobody can have the same relationship. Brie and Brian, twin flames. Nikki and John, perceived twin flames. Trinity and Jimmy, because we're not gonna call him John because it's just gonna be weird. Soulmate. Everybody's different or whatever. My favorite Total Divas couple, because you asked it, because it's right there, is definitely Trinity and Jimmy. Hands down.
So cute.
And then Brie and Brian.
I would say my favorite couple. I was really into Nikki and John Cena, believe it or not. And I don't feel like they should have got married or anything. Like, I think it ran its course, but I did enjoy seeing their relationship. Brie and Brian, yeah, I think they might be like my favorite. Also, Natty and TJ, because Natty was just so over the top, and TJ was like the chillest person ever. And it's just like, how in the world does he put up with Natty and all her fucking cats and all that shit? But they were like
that date episode when she went on a date with her friend.
That was a bit much. Also, what about when they got the dominatrix?
They got what?
So Natty wanted to spice up her and TJ's sex life because she was saying, I think this was like he was recovering from an injury or something, or no, I think this was tag teaming with Cesaro, and she was just like, all he cares about is Cesaro. That's all he talks about. He watches their matches. So she thought that they needed to spice up their sex life. So she hired a dominatrix to like teach them some things. And it's a very hilarious
ended up like this
episode. It did,
that's where that comes from.
I think Natty's face says it all, and TJ is happily watching Cesaro and TJ. What was the name of their tag team?
Where's the dominatrix in this? She's just in lingerie and he's got the damn
it was
Brian, the dominatrix was teaching her how to be more sexy. The dominatrix wasn't like involved. They didn't have like a throuple thing. Now, if Total Divas was on now, somebody would have had a throuple, I'm pretty sure. But
I mean,
what you know about thruples?
They didn't have a team name. It was just Kid and Cesaro.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I didn't know if they had like a name or whatever, but yeah, that was hilarious. Paige actually, she had a couple boyfriends on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Alberto Del Rio
got engaged twice on the show. Oh, so I was reading up on a whole bunch of I went into a Total Divas rabbit hole. And there were a lot of scenes cut. So at one point, what's his name? What was her horrible trash ass ex-boyfriend name?
Trash ass ex-boyfriend. Yeah.
So they actually had a lot of scenes in that last season that Paige was on, but because she was going through like so much, and then the sex tape came out, and then they were like arrested about things. So a lot of her scenes got cut in that season, which I'm really good that we didn't get that on TV, and she doesn't have that
attached to her. I don't know if she has the sex tape attached to her.
Yeah,
which people forget about, which I love that for her now. Like, people really don't really mention it, which I love that for her.
Yeah, me too. Because people make mistakes, and I feel like at the end of the day, like, her privacy was violated. I feel like her recording, her sex acts, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like we villainized her, people villainized her for that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The fact that she was hacked, I think, is the real issue.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yeah,
she
and
could
then
have kept the NXT championship out of it. I'm just saying.
and then the fact that nobody villainized the person that she was with. You understand? Everyone made jokes
Oh no,
about it.
the men
because
got
it was
off
a dude.
easy, of course.
Yeah, but because it was her, it was just like, oh, da, 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 da. Like when I think people will forget about it, and then they'll mention like when they had that freestyle. Like this was like literally before the actual first kickoff to Wale Mania, and Jimmy and Dave said whatever, and Wale like fell to the floor, and I'm just like, oh my god, like can we let this
Get
girl
R-rated like Xavier Woods?
Yes, and I'm like, can we just let this like die and relax, like. Not to go off topic, but that also brings back to when we was in Brooklyn. Remember, Pete and Triple H was talking, and the crowd was just chanting "UF China," and Triple H stumbled on his words. Like he could not speak because it was just, mind you, Stephanie standing right next to him. They was announcing something, and Brooklyn was just so crazy, like "UF China,"
disrespectful.
and Triple H was like, like he could not get it together. Like you just have to let sleeping dogs lie.
You really do. Do y'all remember this episode when Jimmy did stand-up comedy?
No.
Yeah, but so if someone wants to send the link, then
we'll find the clip. But Jimmy wanted to. Trinity was like, "Oh my god, you're so funny! You're so funny! You should do stand-up comedy." I think he was like injured or something, and he was trying it, and all his jokes were about Trinity. And she was like, okay. I'm encouraging you to do this, but I'm gonna need you to change up your material. But I don't remember who their comedy, maybe Dolph Ziggler, who also.
I was gonna say it was Dolph. I remember now vaguely. Now you bring it up. It was Dolph Ziggler.
He was like, speak to what you know. That's the best comedy. Speak to what you know, and if that's your wife, you know. But yeah, she got over it, and it was cool. Andre, thank you. I forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that up. Give us more moments to talk about, guys, from Total Divas.
I was gonna say, my favorite couple was I really enjoyed seeing. I'm about to call her Natalie.
We got rated.
Is that a raid?
Nice.
It's a raid. We love
a raid. Look, I know who's behind it. Go ahead, Becky.
We love you, baby. We love you, baby. Oh, we love you too, baby. Everybody give Christina the heart. The new one.
No.
I'll give this one.
What I tell you about them gang signs you throwing up, P? I'll tell you about that. No.
Listen, Ryan, stop.
Listen, me just do it. We gonna stick to what we know, right, Justin?
Justin Rich does not co-sign this gang sign shit that
we gonna stick to what we know.
We do not co-sign this in the fan club.
Look, you saw Baker said no gang.
Be careful with them fingers, people. Be careful with them fingers. Don't get yourself in situations that you can't talk yourself out of.
Period.
Thank you for rating us.
You get the big heart.
Do y'all have a favorite Total Divas moment? Everybody that joined us over here, do y'all have a favorite Total Divas moment? Let us know. So let's get one out of the way. Is Summer Rae smacking Natalya?
Yes.
I think that's probably, I feel like people that don't even know watching an episode knows about that shit.
She got inspired by Chappelle's show. She's like Rick James kid. She's like, so I got to cock back and just come all the way across the face.
So can I be honest with you guys? Mm-hmm. Total Divas is the reason why I really don't F with Natty.
Wow.
Like I said, I love everything that she's done for everybody else, how she's a train. Like, I love all of that. Love all that for her. And I know that we interviewed her and, and I love what she does as a person. But watching Total Divas, it was just like she was just trying so hard to fit in. And we really don't know who she truly is as a person. Because like she was just trying so hard to fit in and appease everybody else. Like, we know who she is as a wrestler. Very, very talented. Very charismatic. Very everything. But when we watched her on the reality show, it's just like, who are you?
I didn't.
Hey, Professor Trell, I'm not a part of that. Absolutely not. Take me out of that. No.
Sorry, go ahead, Krista.
No. Go ahead. I was letting you go. Sorry.
I feel like one of the things about reality TV that's hard is because you're gonna get put into a character. So they're gonna edit you to be a certain character. And unfortunately, for a long time, Natty was like that naggy, like old head that wasn't ready to give the other girls a chance, which we know is the complete opposite now. But it gave off that kind of like she wasn't ready to give other girls a spotlight. She always hated when other girls were blonde because she wanted to be the only blonde, like that, like catty competitive side. And a lot of times it did come off a little off-putting. I'm not gonna front. It made for great reality TV, but I can see people being a little turned off by that.
Yeah, but then not like speaking to her and having that moment with her that we had, and actually even going up to her the next day, like, "Hey, it's up. The interview's up if you want to watch it, whatever." Like, speaking with her, I felt like her aura was just so beautiful. Like I felt it. Like it wasn't just because when Brian came to me, oh my God, I spoke to Daddy. Brian, what did I do? Oh, okay. Like he was like, I know sold him, but I'm sorry. Like it just brings me back to that.
When you meet The Rock, I'm gonna be like,
No, you're not. You're gonna make sure I'm not passed out dying on the floor.
Wait, like, Brian, what was that noise? That man said,
right. He gonna make sure I'm not dying on the floor while he always talk about my sister. My sister is such a big fan. Nope. I gotta make sure she okay. Nope. Watch. Mark my words. Watch. He's not gonna leave me for dead on
got
that
a receipt
floor.
coming, brother.
But yeah, that's what
she was good. Who are some other of like the underrated cast members?
Vinny.
Vinny.
Oh, yeah. Ariana's, yes.
Yo, pull him up. He was mad
funny.
Him.
He was.
I hated him. I'm glad they're not together anymore.
Well, I heard it was scripted. Like
no, they were together.
The relationship.
Yeah, like I heard somebody who like met him, of course, take it with a grain of salt, but fan club exclusive or whatever. That somebody who met him and he told like, yeah, nah, that was fake. It was just to try to get her over and all this other stuff.
Wait, he was a wrestler?
No, he was just a personality, probably hired.
Because he said over, and I'm like, wait, he was a wrestler?
Well, I'm using our terminology, of course, but yeah.
I couldn't stand him.
He was funny though.
He was cocky, arrogant, obnoxious, narcissistic, misogynistic. Do I keep going?
He gave up those vibes, but I also thought he was funny. Can we talk about Ariane real quick as well? Love you.
Of course.
Bye, Becky. Love you. See you on Friday.
Yeah, let's talk about. So Ariane was one of those people who I think got more TV time on Total Divas than she ever did in WWE.
Wrong.
Shout out to Jack Rose. But I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm trying to say. Well, do we like her? How do we feel about her?
Love her.
I feel like she was another one who wanted. She was trying so hard to be the certified mean girl.
That's true.
That part.
She was trying very hard to be the certified mean girl, to be the. Even like when Nikki and Brie was just like, oh, we want to have a talk to build some type of camaraderie to let go of any tension. She's like, girl, bye. Like she was just trying so hard to be the mean girl. Like, girl, be genuine. Another one who you really didn't know what her personality is. You really don't know who she is as a person. Everybody else had their vulnerable moments. And yes, she did too when it came into her family. But you really don't know who Ariane Cameron is.
So, yeah, it's like I see what you're trying to do. It ain't hitting.
Right. Exactly. Be yourself. I'm pretty sure you're not really mean like that.
I could see her being mean like that. I think like you hit on the head about more time on WWE like here than WWE to an extent. Yeah, I mean at the time like the Funkadactyls was hot. To the point they were hotter than Brodus Clay. Let's keep it 100, for obvious reasons, because he's terrible. But
ain't he a champion somewhere now?
If that's what you want to call it, yeah.
Oh,
sure.
all right, okay.
But yeah, but they was definitely, so like for the show, yeah, she had more, time, but her wrestling was never something we desired to see. I did like the fact, like, I think it's actually right. here when they talk about the feud between them two. And I did like when she did want to go to NXT and improve, but unfortunately, co-signing for Ryback got her fired. But you could see that she was definitely.
How the fuck would anybody co-sign with Ryback? I'm sorry.
Wait, what happened when? Is this when Ryback was going on his little rant about things that was happening in WWE, and she was
Bingo.
like, "Yeah, I
go his preach,
big
brother."
Mistake.
And then she
Ryback.
Yeah, he was
the hell she was willing to die on. Like, I'm co-signing this
because they
Ryback.
Around the releases, the word on the street is that she was going to be saved because they was going to send her to NXT, kind of give her a wish. But then when she did that, I was like, you know what? Let's just get rid of her. But
she blocked her own blessings. That's what that was.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it hasn't worked out in AEW for her.
But she was never signed to AEW. Like after she made that little appearance or whatever, she came out and was just like, she's a free agent. She wasn't really signed. That was just a one-off type situation because she ended up in Royal Rumble.
Right, I know that. What I'm saying is it didn't work out because they didn't sign her.
But I don't think she wanted to be signed. I think that was like her choice because I feel like with AEW you can definitely choose if you want to be there or not. And I'm like, who would really want to choose? Never mind. But yeah.
Damn.
Black Thought says Ryback was good.
Good at what?
He was. I was a Ryback fan.
I can see why they pushed him. And that's a dope ass phrase. Like that's like they could have did a lot with that.
I'll give
Ryback
you that.
Anyway,
had opportunities, right?
With Ariane, one thing I did enjoy about Total Divas, which I think is true about her in real life, is she's very ambitious. Like she took every opportunity to be like, okay, how can I increase my exposure? Okay, I'm not the best wrestler. Clearly Trinity's the star of the show. What can I do? And she never stopped making moves in that way. So I've always had a level of respect for Ariane with that. And to this day, she's never stopped. She's been in TV shows. She's been in movies. She's produced movies. She has a couple podcasts. She's big on YouTube and TikTok. So shout out to Ariane.
On social media.
That was a drop ball, though.
I think she follows unapologetically eclectic on social media.
That was definitely a drop ball because they shouldn't have never been split. And I always thought when they wanted to make Naomi heel, which I didn't like, just because she's a naturally nice person, and you could see the uncomfortableness when it was happening. So when it like replayed through Total Divas, it was like, of course she was uncomfortable. But I thought if they would have just let her go out there and wrestle and give Ariane the mic and let her be the manager, it could have worked. I was
good on the mic.
I feel like, okay, so here's my thought on that. They tried that. Well, they didn't try to give her the mic part, but they did make Ariane Naomi's valet. And she had an issue with that. That's when she started to say, okay, they're not going to push me. I need to go do whatever. At the same time, back then, she was gonna be on the mic and do what? Like they weren't as what's the word I'm looking for? Pros as they are now on the mic. They didn't have that. And for her, and this was also at the time where NXT was just starting. So yeah, you had Dusty in NXT, you had all these people in NXT, but before 2012, before Total Divas came out and they were still doing that. Who was going to help her be good on the mic? Who was going to actually coach her? Who was going to actually sit with her? Because these women were not as respected as the men in those locker rooms. Who was she been able to turn to be like, all right, help me with my mic skills? How can I say this? And then even if you look at tape way back when, even watching Stephanie from the Attitude Era, Stephanie is screaming in a microphone to where it sounds like nails on a chalkboard. Who do you have to look at to be like, okay, I have to improve on this, I have to improve on that? She didn't have anybody. Now, if it was now, we didn't have a walkout from Naomi and she stood her ground, proud of you, sis, to this day, then maybe it could have worked. But if you don't have anybody to stand to back you up, like these women were not as great on the mic as they were. You see, like looking back in that era, it was only a few women who was able to speak on a mic. AJ Lee, pipe bomb, crazy.
True.
Vicky
I do
Guerrero
feel like
because
out
she
of
is
the
the thing.
two,
Say it again.
Ariana was. I feel like
No,
out of the
Ariana would have
two,
been better.
Ariana
Yeah,
was definitely better on the mic and more of
yeah,
a natural heel. I
absolutely.
do think they should have split up, but I think they could have been together for a little longer. Like I think they should have dropped Big Boy and did their like own thing for a little while.
Big Boy. I heard that said it so long.
Because they did have a good gimmick for a little while. They had the crowd dancing. They
But they
even had
essentially
Vince
did that.
dancing. So I mean they could have went a little bit with that. They could have had their little breakup feud, and Naomi could have prospered how we always knew that she would. I want to get into more of these moments. And so Dylan brought up the Iconics for obvious reasons. I'm a huge Iconics fan, and said that they should have been casted. I think he said it in the comments. The Iconics made a little cameo when they were homesick, and Liv and Naomi, very good intention, that tried to throw them like a welcome home party, but they got British flags instead of Australian flags. I don't know if you remember that moment. Yeah. So how did you guys feel about that? Did you think they would be good for reality TV? Who's somebody you would want to see on the show?
I think they would have been. It would have been it would have been different. It would probably been a culture difference too. You know, them being from Australia. It would have been fun to see because it would have been cool to see like their dynamic and see them showcase their culture. I'm not sure how the American audience would have got with it, but like I think, you know, especially, and maybe I'm being messy here, I would have liked to see when they decided to break up. You know, especially knowing what we know now, how it was Billy Kay, I think, or was it Cassie who wanted to switch? So, or Peyton Royce, I should say. I would have liked to see that play out in Total Divas because I think that would have been fun to see.
Oh, you are messy. That's nasty.
Here's the thing with the Iconics, and this is speaks to like the whole casting. Not everyone wanted to be on Total Divas, and knowing Billy Kay is extremely private. Like you don't even know about her family, if she has a significant.
I didn't even know she was married until like last year.
Yeah, like she keeps all that on the hush hush, and that speaks for like other people, because I know a lot of people on social media were like, "Why don't we get the Four Horsewomen on Total Divas?" Sasha said, "Hell no." Charlotte has said, "Absolutely not." Becky has said, "Hell no." Like Bailey's the only one that would out of the four would even consider it, and even Bailey's private to an extent. And that's the thing is like you have a roster that's like, yeah, I'm down to be on the show that can help, you know, build my brand, like sort of like what Ariana's done, like even Maria's done, what the Bella's done, and you have other women that are like the Sashas and whatnot. That's like, I just want to wrestle. I don't want to do none of that other shit. Like even Renee was someone that did the show and was like, yo, this ain't for me because I'm more private. I don't like doing all this, and we're kind of boring. So that's the thing.
Here's my take on that. So I don't know. I think I've been addicted to TikTok, and I'm sorry. So it was this TikTok where the girl was just like, shows that should have ended before they went to like die. So when we talk about the iconics come on in later years. I feel like Total Divas should have ended before Rhonda, before Sonya. Although I did love seeing Sonya. Sonya kind of meshed well enough. But before like the Rhonda Sonya feud, or it should have died way before then. It should have just ended wherever it was supposed to have ended. I can't remember right now. So to add someone like the Iconics, I just feel like now you're just trying to make something stretched that's no longer stretchable. You know, like this isn't Stretch Armstrong. He's stretched out. Like
I agree with that.
Yeah, like I feel like the Iconics now, if they decided they wanted to be on some type of a platform, you have all these social media outlets, but you can let people in, but you can control who you let in or who you see. Like you never want to be portrayed as somebody good or bad or evil, whatever. Because look, now like my feelings towards Natty on the show skewed how I feel or view her as a person until I actually got to break it myself. Like they were funny characters on WWE. I couldn't really stand it at the time because it's just like you're trying to make a mockery of something that these women have fought so hard to build. But now I get it. Now we don't really have that type of comedic relief in the women's division. So I'm just like, okay, cool. But to put them on the show under a magnifying glass and have people nitpick at you, it's just something that I don't think
I want to touch on that as well, because I did see a lot of people tweet that Total Divas ran a little too long.
Yeah, I feel like it did.
I do feel like the last couple seasons are a little dry. It did feel forced. It lost that magic. Like I would say the first like 4 seasons of Total Divas was like magic. It was gold. It felt authentic. Authentic as reality TV can be. It felt like it had that spark where it was like, yo, we have something here. Let's build on this. I think adding Rhonda felt forced. I don't think Rhonda is built for reality TV. I think she's boring as fuck. I don't care about like your farm life. Like I don't care about any of that. She didn't come off likable to me. So I think that was their like jumping the shark. Like let's get Ronda Rousey on there, and ratings definitely reflected that. Do you guys have a favorite season? Where was the magic cast? Like who was the cast that you were like, this is must see TV?
The cast that I love: Bella's Naomi, Natty, of course, Paige, Summer Rae was already gone. I think Eva Marie was already gone. I think JoJo was already gone. I was okay with Renee being up there with them. And Ariane was already gone. So I don't know what season that was or where in the mix is that or whatever, but yeah, them. And then Sonya. I love seeing Sonya up there too.
That is true. The only thing I remember from Renee being on there was like the one where she's having dinner with her family and like the dudes took the hats and fucking John hops the thing and like checks them right then and there. Like, bro, I will literally fuck you and you up. Not only are you giving this back, you better apologize.
Ain't
like,
running back to apologize.
It's like I want you to say something flagrant so I can throw hands.
Yo, I need if my man. Well, no, I'm not going. Cause never mind. But applaud
unless you got bail money. Don't encourage unless you got bail money.
It's
like,
so wild.
Oh damn! The ops got him. Shit. Now I gotta go bail him out. What's my bank account look like?
Oh, no, I'm always have bail. I'm always have shoe money beside.
Oh my god, it's so odd to see Dean Ambrose now whatever the fuck his name, John Moxley. It's hard to think
and it's
reality TV at one point.
It's also rough for him at that point because now that you know that he struggled with alcohol problems, and then you see him turning up and drinking a lot of whiskey, it's like you don't want to go back through them old doors and be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
When you're going through that and the drink was leading you, it's like you don't want to be seeing
that. But Jimmy was doing the same thing. Jimmy was having the same exact issues. And even when he wasn't showcased on Total Divas, he was having them same issues. He could, no shade, no tea. He got in trouble with the cops or with the law probably about 3 times in the same month that we was just like, okay, if you're wrestling, if it's the wrestling thing, then you just chill out. Don't wrestle for right now until you get it together.
I mean, I hear you because, personally, I've gone through that in the time of my life too, and that's something that you see like with Jeff Hardy, perfect example. Like how many times have you gotten arrested for this, that, or a third?
And at the same time, it's just like, okay, again, just stop doing what, like, you can't never tell an addict or whatever to stop doing what they're doing, but you can lead them to be like, okay, if this is your trigger, maybe you can fall back a little bit and get some help with your triggers.
Especially alcohol, because alcohol changes the brain cells, how you think, and that's something that where it's like, you can't take anything for alcohol except don't drink. But that's hard because now your brain chemicals have changed because of the alcohol. That's like, yeah, that one drink ain't gonna hurt. But it's like, nah, dude, because that leads to that, which leads to that, and it's like a waterfall that you can't control.
Yeah,
that's very true. But let's get back to Total Divas. Yep. So that is actually an issue that they brought up on Total Divas, and someone tweeted that they appreciated that they did touch on like some serious topics. Eva Marie shared that she had that struggle. She was at Brie Bella's bachelorette party, and she felt very uncomfortable uncomfortable, and finally she had to tell them like, this is a trigger for me. I'm around alcohol. It's been, such amount of time. And she was able to share her story. And that actually helped them get closer to Eva Marie, which I appreciated. Another underrated cast member was Rosa Mendez, who also, she joined the cast coming back to WWE after having been suspended for her drinking problem. So she was also in recovery as well.
Black Thoughts, 420 days. Salute.
Yes.
Shout out to Black Thoughts, family
I want to
of the
call him
show.
by his name. I want to call him by his name, but I can't. But congratulations. I'm so proud of you.
We love you here. Yes, we're so proud of you for that. So I'm glad they were able to showcase that. Paige was able to talk about being different. I would never forget the episode where she met her biggest fan. She was out shopping. I forgot who she was with. And she ran into her biggest fan who said, "You helped me get over an eating disorder. You helped me embrace being different." And seeing Paige react to that, I think those were the moments that made Total Divas really special. I think.
Yeah.
I
think with Paige, she was like trying to belong and not fitting in, and she was just like she was going to quit, and she had ran out the store. So for you to run out the store and run into a fan to girl, that was beautiful. Talk about tearjerker.
And that's important because like when you look at like Total Divas and you look at the Kardashians are now like celebrities, so that there's not a real connection with them because it's like, bro, y'all make millions and billions of dollars. We can't connect with this. Whereas with Total Divas, you go and see these wrestlers in person. You see them at live shows. You may run into them at the airport, at the mall, at the movies, wherever. And there's an actual accessibility to these wrestlers as long as y'all don't cross these fucking lines with them. But there's accessibility to them where it's like, I can actually run into Paige and have a conversation with her. There's no way in hell I get anywhere near Kim Kardashian or Khloe or Courtney because it's going to be like a shitload of bodyguards. But a Paige, Eva Marie, a Trinity, yeah, there's a chance where I could run into you and I could be like, yo, you helped get me through some shit. And now that because of Total Divas, you see where like that shit does mean a lot to them. Because now that we got what we asked for, which is let's take a peek behind the curtain and see like what happens outside the ring when you're not at Raw and SmackDown. You get to see this, and it's like, yeah, now I can really connect with this shit. Like, No, go ahead, Brian.
No, I was gonna say that's why I brought up about Eva Marie earlier. Just with her and when she was getting back in the ring, watching her train and watching her significant other like be there for her. Dynamic and seeing him trying to like look, you don't need to push yourself too much. And I do think the show definitely gave helped give the women respect for the efforts they were putting in the ring.
Absolutely.
When you look at what happened with WrestleMania 30, you could see the concerns about the matches getting cut, and that's when a lot of times you would see the camaraderie that they have because unfortunately, you hear all around that time. You was always hearing a shoot interview about Sonny and Sable or Chyna and Sable, and so you have this perception that the women backstage they always arguing and whatnot. Where here you can see like, oh no, they get along. Sure, there's the drama, but on a night where they thought their match was going to get cut for the second year in a row, especially after the Undertaker and Lesnar just happened, and they got to be the ones to go out there, unfortunately. So that's what I definitely liked about them right there. And as far as seasons, it's easy to say the first season, but for obvious reasons. But I really liked just watching when what was it the wedding with Rusev and Lana. I forget which season it was.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I really like that.
I forgot that he was even on the show.
Well, that's what I feel like.
They were huge on the show.
I know Lana was there, but I forgot Rusev was there.
That's where I think we really got to see his personality because he came in as just like, he's supposed to be this powerhouse monster and whatnot. But, all of a sudden he came in, that's where we got to start to see Rusev Day translate on TV.
Yeah, I agree. That's when I fell in love
was, which is like, yo, Rusev looked like a good hang. We knew about Lana because Lana was gonna make sure, yo, you see how I get down. But Rusev was like, yo, this is actually pretty chill. I'm actually learning some shit about you. Like, I didn't know all the Bulgarian stuff
right
until this.
Right. And especially because he was also just like this like foreign monster typical heel, and then you watch him on Total Divas and you're like, he's, oh my god, he's mad funny. He loves his wife. Him and Lana were so entertaining. I love them both on there. So that was another couple that got married on Total Divas. So Trin and Jimmy got married. Brie and Brian, Natty and TJ, after being together for like 10 fucking years, they just had got married in season 1. Who else? Am I missing anyone else that got married on that show?
Not married, but I remember when Miz and Maurice went on like their honeymoon. They were like, "Bro, we got married and we had to go back on the road. Like we never got to take a honeymoon until like
most wrestlers
so many years later." I was like, "Wow, you never got to take a honeymoon? You couldn't even take like a week?" It was like, "No."
Lana, I think was gold. How did you guys watching feel about Lana on Total Divas? Because fun fact, Lana and Rusev were asked not to return to the show. She shared on her and Rusev actually were on Renee Young's maybe it was Lillian Garcia's podcast, and they said that the show got new producers in like the last like 2 seasons, and basically they said that Lana and Rusev were not likable, that they were boring. And I was like, Lana and Rusev, to me, between Lana and Natty's dynamic with her family, between their quirky relationship and Lana when she has her fireball shots, Rusev being Rusev, I thought they were great. Like, was that wild? Like, you guys, I was shocked to hear that.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, he was funny, and she was too. She had her ways, especially with she was and he's my favorite tag team. Rest in peace, Jim Neidhart. Wasn't he like a huge fan of hers?
Oh yeah,
oh my god, yes,
loved her.
He loves her.
That's what made the Natty and Lana stuff so entertaining, because like Natty would be like, "This bitch gets on my nerves," but Anvil and her family and the mom loved her.
Yeah, they love Lana.
She was very fun. Why can't you be like Lana? And it's like about that. Like wasn't Anvil trying to teach her how to shot put, and then she like fucking threw the shit out of his car?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
like, bro! Oh, that's your windshield.
I absolutely love them. I felt so bad, to hear that, because they both enjoyed it. They both felt like, they gave their all to it, like they cared about, what they were giving off, and they put themselves out there. And then to be told like you're not likable, it's kind of fucked up. And also you're losing out on that bag. So that's one thing I wanted to mention about Total Divas and just reality TV and wrestling in general. We can move on to some of the other reality TV shows that are out there, but that's TV time. So like the hate and that they were getting on, being on reality TV, it's like, but they're on TV every week. And there's a lot of wrestlers that were complaining about Total Divas that were not on TV every week. They were exposed to a wide audience every single week. We talked about it. There are people, women, men, shout out to the LGBTQ plus community that advocate for Total Divas as well. There's a whole sector of people that fuck with this show that don't watch wrestling. They are not just wrestlers, they are TV stars. Every single cast member on Total Divas can say that they are not only a professional wrestler, they can say they are a reality star. They are a TV star. Not a lot of people in the wrestling industry can say that. Nope. Some of your favorite wrestlers are not household names, but I bet you they know who the Bella Twins are.
Ooh. And I was going to say that. Okay.
Go ahead, Brian.
No, I was going to say that about, right? Like, he was somebody who is, him and Brett, my favorite tag team, right? Back in the day. But he would have been one of those legends that would have been lost in the shuffle just because, you would have only associated. But you got to see, he kind of had like a second run just from Total Divas, and bringing up people like Rosa Menendez. Like, she's honestly, let's be real, she's going to be forgotten about in the Divas circuit, but because she was on that show.
Yep. And she has a very successful brand on social media and fitness and all that world off of the strength of being on Total Divas.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ladies who don't, especially from like the Ruthless Aggression era and post Ruthless Aggression era, right before the Total Divas era, that they were we remember them, but they don't really have that, because had there been a Total Divas around, their brands would have been stronger.
And you talked about the bag and the exposure. That's an understatement. Like, look at how long has it been since Friends had their last show, and you still see Friends on TV through reruns and stuff like that, or Seinfeld, or Martin, or even me personally, I've been complaining for years. Why isn't New York Undercover on a streaming service? This is an amazing show. This should be on a streaming service. And because I kept up. And
that was my intro to New York.
But that was also I felt that way, and I found other people felt that way, to where now New York Undercover is on a streaming service, and it shows when people really fuck with a show, they fuck with a show, and then that can help with residuals and royalties and help keep that going, to where yo, W may be kind of boring, but you know what I feel like doing randomly? Going back and watching Total Divas. How many times have I gone back and watched Breaking Bad, or The Wire, or The Sopranos, or Game of Thrones? It's yo, let me go back and watch Total Divas, because this was entertaining. And you're talking about so many great reality shows, The Flavor of Love, the I Love New York, the Real World, Road Rules, the Challenge, and stuff like that, where it's now that I have Peacock, I can go back, if it's on there, I can go back and pull this up, and it's that's how you have Natty's career live on. That's how you have a Rosa Mendes career, where we can go remember it. Or Summer Rae, that didn't get a lot of memorable moments in the ring, but outside the ring, she's got it. Same with Ariane, and so on and so forth.
Right. No, I 1,000% agree with you on that. And I also just want to boast that you can watch Total Divas on Hulu, Peacock, the WWE Network outside of the United States. And again, who can say that they're on syndicated television elsewhere? That is fucking huge. The other point I want to bring up about the Total Divas hate is reality TV isn't for everyone. It's targeted towards certain people. If you are a hardcore wrestling fan that grew up watching it in the 80s, Total Divas ain't for you. And that's okay. That's 100% fine. So I never understood the outward hate towards it, because it's just don't fucking watch it. It's not for you. It's not for you. It's for all the people that it brought to wrestling. Pause real quick because we're watching Dynamite. The Owen Hart Cup is back.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I guess that was Brian's
no
reaction.
offense.
It's no shade, but P put it perfect, where it's if it's not for you, it's not for you. But there is an audience for it, so don't shit on it because you don't rock with it, but other people do. Everyone. You
talking about me in the Owen Hart Cup?
No, I'm talking about.
It was just spot on. It was just spot on the way you was talking.
Yeah,
that's all.
Because it's there's something for everything in wrestling, and wrestling fans got to come to this understanding of just because it's not for you doesn't mean you got to shit on it 24/7, because someone else may like that. Someone may love tag team wrestling. Someone may love women's wrestling. Someone may love cruiserweights. Someone may love the almostes of the world, big meaty men slapping meat. There's something for everyone, and some people really fuck with Total Divas. If that's not you, then it's cool, but you don't have to spend your time on social media using your Twitter fingers to shit all over something that's maybe that wasn't their intention to get someone like you, but someone like P or myself that is yo, I'll give this a shot. And now we're 4 seasons in. It's yo, when is this coming on? Let me go sit down and get my popcorn.
That's why it was on E. You know what I mean? And because of that, and which is a huge thing. People underestimate that.
That alone is huge. I also want to.
It's a major platform.
Yes, and again, they followed the Kardashians. That was their lead-in, the most successful reality show in the world. It followed that show. It's in the same. If you watch Total Divas, the Kardashians on Hulu, the next thing that plays when the show is finished is Total Divas.
That's give them a programming lesson.
That is fucking huge. Also, the fact that the Nikki and Brie Garcia were producers on the fucking show.
Huge.
Okay, thank you. Huge flex. Reality TV star. Fucking TV producers, they executive produce Total Bellas.
Residuals.
Come on, give me any men on the roster, any of your favorite wrestlers that can say that they produce TV.
Nope, because it's only Kevin Dunn.
Your faves have never done shit like that. Let's be for real. Don't don't discount something that was never meant for you. I promise you, when the producers were producing Total Divas, they were not thinking of those fucking trash ass guys in their mother's basement. But I promise you, the show was not meant for you. And if you don't like it, that's 100% okay.
And then the Kevin Dunn part, that speaks to what Krista was saying, where it's like there's some people that didn't want to be on the show. That's probably another thing where it's like, maybe I want to control my brand. I want to control my image. Right. I want to control my narrative in a way that if I'm on Total Divas, I don't have that control. That's WWE. Right. That's Kevin Dunn. That's indirectly Vince McMahon. Whatever they say goes. If I'm going through some personal shit that I don't want filmed, but they say roll cameras, and they got the seniority over me or they got the power over me, then I can't really do anything except just not sign up for next season. Mm-hmm. But if I do it on my own shit, as you're starting to see some more talent do, then it's like, you know, now you get to see them for like, I get to push how I want to be presented. Or now you get to see the creativity that I bring to the table that probably gets negated in a lot of those meetings where, you know, the EPs and the suits will be like, nah, we don't like that. We're not going to rock with that. We're not going with that storyline. Cut that.
Right. And I mean, I get the argument. Like, I've seen a lot of people talk about how it pulls the curtain back too much. It blurs kayfabe. And honestly, with social media and dirt sheets and blogs and all that shit, all of that is always going to be overexposed and blurred. So I don't think blaming reality TV is going to do anything. But I do want to switch gears a little bit from Total Divas and talk about some of the other wrestling related reality shows. Did you guys watch any of the other ones? Were you guys Tough Enough fans?
Definitely watch Legends House every week.
Legends House.
Yeah, I was definitely watching that. Yeah. Man, I mean, you talking about having like people like Jimmy Hart, Tony Atlas, Mean Gene, Pat Patterson. I thought it was a huge moment when you got to see the brothers support Pat Patterson when he finally, you know, revealed his truth on the show. And it was something like, because for the longest time, it was this underlying secret in pro wrestling. And if, you know, on the show, that's when it happened. And so I thought that was good. It was also funny, you know, just watching those guys. And what was funny was like during the reunion when they all was unanimously said they would never do it again. You got to see like Roddy.
So that's why there was only one season?
Yeah, they was like, would you have no, like they all said no, like love each other, but no. I mean, they had like different things they had to do to cook for each other and they all this other stuff. So it just didn't work. But it was a good, fun show. It's one of those things where everything don't have to be multiple seasons. You know, one season was good enough. You go back and watch it if you want. But I didn't watch the early Tough Enough. I only watched like the last ones. The one with Ariane and also Christina Crawford, Alicia Fox's little sister, because that's who I thought was gonna win, and I think she got hurt. Because she was good, she was really good. I forgot who won that one. But you know, one thing I did know about Tough Enough, the person who won never became the star. You know, out of this last class, the person who should have been the biggest star eventually got canceled. No, the second biggest star, because definitely the person who was the biggest star, well, now is Sonya Deville, but Mandy Rose was definitely like, I thought you knew it. Like by this time, we know in 2015, whoever get cut is going to get the contract, and the person who wins is going to have like the highest. They're gonna have like the most pressure, right? And so like Andy and rest in peace Sarah, they won, but unfortunately didn't really have much. You know, didn't stay around too long. But yeah, it was cool in the later years. Shout out to Reverend Ron Hunt. He was like supposed to be on there, but there was just a couple of things he revealed that.
Wow.
He revealed that and breaking through glass ceilings. He I think it was something. If you go back and listen to the interview, it was something along the lines of he got the email. It went to the wrong folder at the wrong time, but his video was actually retweeted by The Rock and everything. But yeah, Reverend Ron Hunt was supposed to be in that last season of Tough Enough.
KRISTA.
Oh shit.
I didn't watch
Black Cross. That's DC for you.
Ooh, not the DC hate.
Hey, that y'all claim that one. Y'all claim that way. I mean, bad enough we got.
Ain't y'all in this? I don't claim that. No. We forsake thee in the name of Jesus. No, we do not.
Did you guys watch Ms. and Mrs.?
Now that's the one that I watched. Now when you name off like Legends House and all the other ones, it's like and Tough Enough is like familiar. I know their names, but I wasn't really watching that. Ms. and Mrs. is my shit. I grew up on Ms. because I am a Real World fan. Back to New York, season 10 was him and Coral, and you get to see the first iteration of Mike doing the Miz and stuff like that, and they're just like, what the fuck is he doing? Even though they know, like, yeah, like he wants to be a wrestler and stuff like that. Like, that was entertaining ass television. And then me growing up in the MTV era and watching Miz go on the challenges and the Tough Enoughs and stuff like that is like, I have a familiarity with Miz where it's like, I'm down. Plus, Maurice is gorgeous. So it's like, wait, I get to see this couple? And then the thing is, you find out like how hilarious she is and how witty she could be and how like their different dynamics. Like one of my favorite up, down, down like moments is where like Miz is playing against Breeze in a video game competition, and then you hear Maurice screaming at Miz for making too much noise, and it's just like, yo, this is the funniest shit because that wasn't supposed to happen. But that's their dynamic where you get to see like Miz and Maurice because of the show where like, yo, they have an amazing ass family. The mom, Marjo, is hilarious as fuck. The dad is just like, your dad really is a character, and that's not turned down for nothing. Like it is, but it brings like a different energy to where like, yo, when that comes on at the Raw, I'm staying up and be like, I'm watching this. Seindole.
We miss you, boo. We hope you're having fun.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Big fan of Miz and Maurice.
Yeah, me too. Their show is super cute. They're a cute little family and their daughters. A new season is actually coming out. And also, fun fact, their production company produces that show as well.
Yeah,
so everybody getting their bags. Everybody getting their bags out here.
Checks on checks. Residuals.
I want this for you as well. I want this to happen for you in life. Hey, boo.
Can I say something from Twitter?
Please do.
Yeah, Goodridge Kazim says, if they bring back Total Divas, I feel NXT women are more interesting than the main roster women. I wonder what's y'all thoughts on that. He replied to the tweets that we had.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% because they're hungry and they don't have, I don't know how to explain this. It's like a blank slate, a blank canvas that they can really do a lot with that. And I think they would be more into showcasing themselves as opposed to the main roster people who are kind of like stuck in their ways a little bit, where it's just like, will cameras be a distraction or will this like help? And then I think about in that tweet as well, so many people that said like, oh, I got to know them from Total Divas. I love them personally because of Total Divas. So I think it could be the same for NXT talent.
I think it could definitely help because we saw with this NXT roster, it was like an influx, right? So like the last NXT roster, it was like casually we saw wrestlers, especially because we knew a lot of them from the indies. But this one, they threw a bunch of new people at us at once. So I think with the women, we could get that. What would be very interesting would be the Shawn Michaels of it all. Seeing their interactions with Shawn Michaels, especially that would be... you know, just thinking about the whole JC Jane and Gigi Dolan barbershop segment, like seeing them plan that or talk about it, and you know the accidentals on purposes. You know, Tiffany Stratton just had a quote that went viral this week about wanting to stay on NXT because she feels like she still needs to improve her ring psychology. You know, you would see stuff like that. So I think that would be a lot of fun.
I think so too.
Crystal looks like she's not buying it.
I was say she's thinking about it. She's
Show us them NXT girls.
She's trying to talk herself into it. She's like, girl,
Okay, can y'all hear me? Because my internet is acting fugazi right now.
You on a different mic, I can tell.
I'm on my same mic.
Okay, it's like,
oh,
but we can hear you.
I got closer. I'm sorry. So here's my thing, right? one, I feel like if they was to bring back NXT now, NXT, child by, they was to bring back Total Divas now, right? It would literally feel as if it's a forced thing. Because it's like, why try to make a remake of something that we don't need a remake of? That's one. Two, I feel like, do we really need to see more of the NXT girls? Only because of the fact that the NXT girls are getting more shine than the girls on the main roster on SmackDown and Raw. Like, we get to see, like, yes, we do get to see, we do want to see like their training methods and how they are outside of the ring. But because P said that they're hungry, I feel like their hunger is going to overtake that realness that people want to see in reality TV, or really get to know them. And then they would kind of get lost in the shuffle of who they really are as people, instead of, that other people growing to like them because of this show. A lot of people will watch NXT more so now than them watching Raw and SmackDown. So I don't think we need to have a reality show to where we're seeing these NXT girls, because they are really putting in the work and getting that fan base, and everybody really knows who they are. Now, if it came on, would I watch it? Absolutely, I would watch it, because I'm going to support the women regardless. But do I feel like they need to be the new? It's going to be like a next generation type situation, and that's what we don't need.
See, I think so. I do feel like it could work with the NXT girls. I just think it can't. I don't think it should be the same structure as Total Divas. I don't think it should be like a network show. I think that form of reality TV is played out. I think it would have to be more like maybe YouTube, more like which I think they kind of do already. Like the PC does have a YouTube channel, and they do give you like a little tidbits inside of it. I think it would have to be something like that, so that it wouldn't feel forced, like Chris is saying, because I do agree with you. It would be one of those things where it's like, we want to give you a reality show so bad, we're going to put these people on it. I think it'll be forced. I think it would have to be like totally revamped, not the second coming of Total Divas. I think it would have to be like its own thing. For sure.
And I feel like that's what they're going to do. We were to bring that back that way.
Right.
And I like it being its own thing, because if you put it as Total Divas, then it's going to get compared to the OGs, and you never want to do that unless it's like you're willing to go there and you'll make it just as good, if not better than the OG.
Yeah,
you're literally just setting them up. Do you guys
need a TWG reality show? No, we don't need that. Yeah, we don't need that.
No, I will produce the fuck out of a reality show. I don't know if I would necessarily be on it, but I think that Dylan, yeah. Like
Dylan said that so he could make a GIF. That's all. Yep. He said that so he could make a GIF out of it.
We love you for that, Dylan. Did you guys watch any of the AEW reality shows? Did you guys watch Rose to the Top? Did it give you Ms. and Mrs. vibes?
Oh wait, I didn't give my reality shows that I watched. I just watched Ride Along. I used to love watching Ride
Along. It was so cute. I loved it.
And y'all already know what my favorite episode is. I feel like if y'all know me, y'all know what my favorite episode is.
The Becky Charlotte?
And it's the one. No.
Which one?
The Shield?
The Shield. Thank you, Justin!
That was funny. That was super funny.
It's because at the time, like, we really never saw them this is why we here, Justin. This is why we here. Mm-hmm. It's like we never really saw them outside of the ring or whatever, especially Roman. I was always checking for Roman. Like when they did them commercials and stuff, we really never got to see them. So when they came back and they, drove to the next town and stuff, and that's when I found out Roman had more kids than just the girl. I'm just like, wait a minute, what? You have more kids? So yeah, I love that, and I love how like Dean Ambrose was still in kind of character, but still being himself when he rolled out the car and stuff like that or whatever. So yeah, I used to love watching Ride Along. Literally, bring Ride Along back. Oh, and honorable mention is when the Usos and Trinity and Tamina was in the car, and they was like let loose in the car, and they locked the windows so they couldn't open the windows to air out the car.
I like the episode with Zelina Vega and Aleister Black. and she just kept talking. Zelina Vega and Andrade, and she kept talking about Aleister Black, and she was like, "Yeah, my husband." And he was like, "Okay, man, I get it. All right, cool, you know."
But, I sometimes forget that she's married to him.
Yeah,
they're so cute. Yeah, I love them.
Ride Along is good.
Huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was gonna say Ride Along was good. It's because like that's wrestling, right? You know,
and you get to see a side of wrestling.
Yeah, that's where I remember when they first came out with it. A lot of my friends who wrestle, like you know, it's like, yo, this is exactly what happens. That's where the best conversations happen. Especially even on the indies, you know what I mean. And we actually did we tried it. We did a Realm on the Road that was patterned after Ride Along because it was like one of those things where where like those authentic conversations from time to time, from town to town. And so I was happy, and I don't know why they got rid of it. Like I feel like this is something that's one that because you don't have to do nothing.
Yeah, it was the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Because people couldn't be around each other, so that's why it got canceled. But I agree, it was the perfect marriage of reality TV because you got to see a side that's very unique to wrestling that people talk about for that's always been a thing in wrestling, always, even before WWE is the road trips, how much you learn, how much you get to know your brothers on the road, all that. So having a camera follow some of these dynamics was really, really, really cool and funny. Like they did the couple ones.
Like being surprised who ride with who,
Yes, that was fascinating.
Yeah, because I've been outside the arena and I've seen wrestlers and I've seen Dolph Ziggler and Kane. You're like, they ride together, you know what I mean? Yeah, so you seeing that dynamic, I remember stories Brock Lesnar would say he used to ride with Undertaker and Kane when he was a young boy, and then we all know the story, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Iron Sheik getting caught and they was heel and babyface. Yeah, they got they broke kayfabe.
They got caught with what?
Yeah, that was great.
They got caught with weed.
Marijuana.
And I think it was in Hacksaw's bag. They got caught with weed. And people started seeing it was like, oh, look at Hacksaw. Look at Iron Sheik. They got a match tonight. They're not supposed to be fighting. I mean, they're supposed to be riding along together because they had to fight that night. They went to jail, got out. Hacksaw thought nobody knew. And his wife was like, what are you talking about? Everybody knows. Everybody knows that you guys broke it.
You're a celebrity. And you got arrested.
Everybody knows. Yeah. Oh, you're in a wrestling town. Everybody's gonna know.
Yeah, it was so good. But so did anyone watch All Access?
No,
not yet. It's on the watch list.
I've heard a lot of things about it. I remember when it premiered or whatever. A lot of people were saying how scripted it was, how it's a show centered around Britt Baker and Adam Cole. Did y'all fuck? Does anyone watch with that? Anybody fuck with that show?
There's just so much going on, outside of fan club that I don't got time for Access. Otherwise, I would probably check it out.
No.
Even if it's centered around Britt and Adam, I fuck with Adam Cole. Thank God he's back because it looked like for a minute he's gonna be out for a longer while. And AEW, they view Britt Baker like WWE views Charlotte Flair and Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
True. What I can say, I don't watch the show, but what I can say is that Britt Baker and Adam Cole are two of the nicest people ever.
They really are. I forgot.
Mania, who was
really
nice. Ricky Starks was an asshole, but whatever. But the dude, yes, he was such an asshole to me.
Oh,
so that's the period.
That's up. I am curious to see what All Access is about. But there's 6 episodes in total. So, Buki, welcome to Fan Club. What do you like about All Access? Do you think that there should be more shows similar to that? Does it do AEW good business? Does it do it bad business? Do we need to peek behind the curtain of AEW? Oh, okay. Black Thought says he doesn't like how Britt treats Thunder. So does it feel like they are editing it to be villain? Because there has to be a face and a heel in reality TV as well. Are they Are they Britt the villain and Thunder the face, or does it really feel like they have heat and she's getting mistreated? Oh, and Dylan said he sees it the other way around. Okay. Maybe I need to watch this show. Yo, Vaughn say the same thing every week.
You can't. Wow.
Period. Can we put that on? No, I'm not gonna put that on there. I would never put that on
Can't
there.
spell ADW.
So I'm putting it up there.
Justin said something earlier about positive tweets, and if you don't like it, it's not for you.
Oh, so just keep it moving. Just keep it moving. So you know what, AW, it's okay, that's okay.
But you know what? Like, speaking of like reality shows, I remember it was Rose to the Top when you saw Brandy Rose had to be the mediator between Jay Cargill and Red Velvet.
What was that, Red Velvet. Like when AEW first started.
Yeah, like when Jay first got there.
I said when AEW first started, and then that came out. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. And like, just going back to the, their reality shows, I couldn't keep up with that show necessarily. It was cool to see, Cody and Brandy and their, dynamic, but it didn't hook me. Like Total Divas, it's the reason why like it's the best. It's the pinnacle, because like they found a way to hook you every week, and that's something that the AEW show couldn't do for me.
Yeah,
but I'm happy that it exists because it allows the talent to have a platform to showcase, like we just said with Total Divas. Like it gives the AEW talent a chance to showcase their talents outside of the ring, where you're not doing these crazy ass stunts every week and put on these crazy matches. Like you get to see another side of Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, Sammy Guevara, Tay Mello, and all them, and that's good for the talent just in general, not just for the company. Because even if you don't rock with the company, like we support like the talent. Like let's say like Trinity goes over to AEW, then we're watching AEW because we want to go see Trinity. And if Trinity wants to be on AEW All Access, we watching All Access then.
Hey yo.
Yeah, I mean, wait.
What?
Oh God, no! Oh God, no! Please no! I need Brandy Rose nowhere near any type of shit.
Cody and Brandy Rose presents Adrenaline in the Soul.
But would you guys be surprised if they did a reality show? Like, I would not be surprised.
Look at the chat and then go there. I don't want to say this on air. This is what happens when you have a bunch of wrestling group chats and people just share stuff.
Wait, I don't see what you're seeing. Just say it.
Oh, he must have deleted. No, he didn't.
Just say it.
Well, Jim Ross retweeted something from Tori Wilson twerking.
Hey, yo! Jim Ross Susio gang out here. So basically, like, it's a tweet of like,
text you.
All right, so the account is like one that specializes in like getting the women of wrestling in compromising situations. That's kind of like, if you horny, you horny. And it's basically Tori's like twerking above like like a wrestling bench, and then JR retweeted it. By God, Michael, look at them puppies.
He really became like that creepy old man that like it's really sad. And now he knows what social media is. And no, he did not delete the tweet. He definitely retweeted this. First of all, the fact that the account WWE Porn, because that's the account, that's the ad of that account. The fact that that's even on Jim Ross's radar is disturbing.
Yeah, I'm like, JR, what's in your bookmarks? If this is what you retweeting, what you got in there?
Somebody said, I don't believe JR runs his Twitter. I think he
he 100% does. That's the problem, is that he runs his own
I'm about to say,
Twitter.
if he don't, then he got to fight whoever's running his Twitter. Like, hey, yo, you know how many bags you can fuck up with this shit? All right, I won't retweet. I'll just bookmark it.
Come on, bro. See, this is because we talk about peeking behind the curtain and how does that like affect wrestling. And I'm a big kayfabe person. Social media is one of the, like, I didn't need to know that Jim Ross was like low key a creep. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't need to know that. I don't need to know what you watch in your private time and the fact that you fucking retweeted this. Mind you, she is like an actual person that's like on social media. Like, she's gonna see this. She was a colleague of yours. Like, she was someone that you worked with and actually
you hired her. You know, it was talent relations. He was her supervisor.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yo, if you're retweeting this, then were you plotting on her when she was working at WWE and, you know, and all that? But then at the same time, like, pulling the curtain back, we know wrestling and talent, and we talked about, you know, Paige earlier. Sometimes situationships happen. Lita being one of the most infamous ones. And it's like, people are adults. People on the road.
I gotta ask this question because the TWG logo, the shirt I have, originates with this great font, the Attitude Era. So I have to ask, could you imagine? Huh? Oh, you froze. Okay. Could you imagine Total Divas doing the Attitude Era? Or any type of reality show.
Yo, Trish would have made millions. You thought she was
it would have been
now
so bad.
Gonna put her on Total Divas and she's gonna be kind of like a little risque. My God.
Yeah, that would be a disaster. I think the women would have gotten treated so badly. It would not have aged well. Like most of the Attitude Era.
That's the thing. It's like they were already getting treated good then, and then you're just we're gonna glorify their assets, no pun intended, even more. It's like, yo, you're just gonna make this supremely uncomfortable to where like they can't even go to a hotel room safety. You're gonna need like security around them 24/7.
Well, they needed it anyway. I was gonna say, what was the format of reality TV then? What would have been more the real world role rules type stuff? In 2000, 2001, 2002.
What about it?
What was the format of reality television? Because that's like the infancy of it.
So Real World was around like in the early 90s. You're going back like Seattle, Hawaii, and all that.
Got you.
So they've been around for like a minute, and then you have like, I guess it's like, all right, so back to New York, the season with Miz and Cora was like where it kind of starts to evolve. But it's that first Las Vegas season when it's Alton and Irulan and Trishelle and all them where they were just wilding out in Vegas, and it's kind of like anything goes, where it's like, oh, now Real World's taking a turn where this is going from like, yo, we want to see more of the everyday life. So like, y'all are just wilding the fuck out.
Okay.
And then that's where like Real World started taking a turn. Like now we gotta kind of keep up with this because now not only are you guys wilding, but like people tuning in. Like that's why the Las Vegas season is like one of the 3 best Real Worlds ever done. But then at the same time, it's like, yo, be careful because girls almost got pregnant, girls almost got STDs, you got people getting in situations and stuff like that.
Now, P, when you
go ahead.
I was gonna say, so when you started watching Total Divas, right? This is in your blind spot of wrestling. But was there a time when you was watching it when you was back into it? Like, was it still on? Like, you was back in?
Yeah. It was when it was like the not as good seasons.
Okay, now did your thought process?
No.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, did you have like did the way you would watch it change or anything?
No. It didn't, and I think it helped that I wasn't watching it in real time with what was happening on TV, so I was able to kind of like separate the fact because it was like a couple years removed. So no, it didn't. It didn't affect how I watched it. I want to bring up another reality show. Oh, first I wanted to shout out The Miz, who came from reality TV and is one of the biggest stars in WWE history. Hall of Famer, The Miz.
Talk about it. First ballot.
2-time Hall of Famer.
2-time Hall of Famer.
He did everything twice, basically, except for the
only person to go through the cycle twice.
Yeah, and he's one of the few that can say they're on TV every week. For the most part, The Miz is on TV every week. Shout out to him. I'm
sorry. I just thought about this. I gotta get the start off if you don't mind. I know this is about men's wrestling. How would y'all feel if The Miz was the first WWE World Heavyweight Champion? He's somebody Roman hasn't beat.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
I wouldn't be mad at it either.
I would
Especially
love
you
it.
want to
I'm
see
a
it
Ms.
coming.
Mark. I'm a Ms. Mark. I will be here for everyone that would hate it. I will be here for everyone that would complain about it. I'm here for the Mrs. Promos making fun of the people that are mad at it. All the way here for it.
Be like, have you seen my resume? Of course, I should be the first one to hold this damn title. I'm more accomplished than
Hollywood.
Yeah, that's Hollywood. Ms. is Hollywood.
Ms. is 100% Hollywood. And Black Thoughts, you this close to getting kicked out the club because you are.
I mean, talking about shooting up the club.
He won that life.
The damn thing.
Why would I hate on that man?
Never. You can't hate on the Miz.
He
Okay,
had
I
two
have
beautiful children and married the woman of his dreams.
And they're so cute. I love them so much. I love them so much.
I
want to bring up a reality show that y'all probably don't even know was a thing or remember, but it was very short-lived. It was very short. It was on YouTube only. But do you ever Corey and Carmela show?
Yeah. Yeah, that was like real brief.
It was a mini series. It was basically them preparing for their wedding and stuff like that. And it was on YouTube. And I supported it because I mean that's another opportunity for exposure. You know, Carmela booked and busy and they really love each other. But it was a little cringe because it was too see, Dylan hit it right on the head. And I'm all for that. Let me make that. I'm all the way here for that. I love that they're horny as hell together, but I feel like the sex jokes were super forced. Like it was like, okay, we get it. You know what I mean?
I don't mind the horny as hell, but the problem is with them is that's kind of the circumstance of how Corey went from his wife to Carmela is still very messy to where it's like, all right, we ain't gotta publicize. We get
That's
it.
none of my business.
Exactly. My name's Paul. That's between y'all. But at the same time, it's like, we get it. Carmela's gorgeous, but at the same time, it's like, bro, kind of messy. Don't need this in my face. You know what I'm saying? This would be like Bray Wyatt and JoJo kind of like doing something and kind of put it in the face. Like, we get it, but I don't need to see this because that's still messy. Don't put it in my face.
Yeah. I mean, it is messy, although it's not. Because they were separated when him and Carmela started dating. So, I mean, you know, again, that part, none of my business. They're happy. Everyone's getting along now. But yeah, that was a reality show. It was very short-lived. It was on YouTube. It's still on YouTube. I think there's like 7 episodes. And a lot of them have like 500,000 views. I just checked it out. So clearly there is somebody was either watching it or hate watching it. They also have a podcast. I think it's called Bear With Us. Super cute.
Oh, okay. I know she built his like she set up his studio, and you know, like I'm a fan of his podcast. I actually need to check out the recent episode because he had Trish Stratus on there, which she did say she would love the challenge for the gold, which I am here for. Y'all know I'm down for it. Even if she don't win it, I'm here for you know, like I said before, if AJ Styles and all these and Edge can have another run, why can't Trish Stratus have another run? But yeah, Corey and Carmela, I always enjoy you know, I love the fact that he, you know, go crazy when she's out there in the ring. Like we all know what it is. Shoot.
I love it.
All right, Dylan.
Wow, Dylan is choosing violence.
That's not a hot take. You bugging. That's how you get tossed like Jazz and Fresh Prince.
I mean, if you want to make Trish a heel, if you want to make it believable, on the last fan club or maybe like the one before that, we did say that if we're gonna be convinced that Trish is a heel now, she got to go extreme. Eating Bianca is the quickest way to do that. I mean, look, Becky, that's the one thing that took us to boo Becky was for her to disrespect Bianca. So that might be what we need for Trish to be convinced, but I don't know.
She gotta lose it eventually. So.
But Becky made sense because Becky had been wrestling consistently for like years, whereas Trish has been in and out, but not really active wrestling for like a while. And you're going against the most athletically gifted wrestler in like years. Like if Trish took that off Bianca, that would be like, yo, that would get the attention for the wrong reasons.
I do like this. This is really interesting, Black Thoughts. That would be very interesting. But this is what's sad about this is that as dope as that can be, WWE has to commit to the storytelling, and I just don't see them committing to that for the women's division. Unfortunately, I would love to be proven wrong, but I just don't see them being able to really execute this the way we would like it to, with the nuances that like the Bloodline story has. That's what needs to happen with this, and I don't know if they'll ever be able to do that. But yeah, Bianca does have to. Right. We do love us some Bianca. Speaking of Bianca, her and Montez Ford have a reality show coming out on Hulu about their relationship. So what I like about this, and I would love to get your thoughts as well, is Bianca Belair has always been very protective of her marriage to Montez Ford. They are one of many wrestling couples, and they are one of the few where their relationship was not played out on TV in a storyline. And that is because Bianca said on many occasions she don't play that. She don't play when it comes to her and Montez. They don't play. So what I love about now them getting a reality show is she was able to set her boundaries. She was able to say what she was willing to do with her husband. And now she's now as big of a star. Montez Ford is as big of a star, where now they can have a show being themselves and kind of still have a little bit more control over it, as opposed to like some random ass like love triangle storyline on TV. So shout out to Bianca and Montez for that. Are y'all watching? Which I think the show's gonna be like. Think it's gonna be good?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. And like you hit it right on the head. The fact that she says she's protective of her marriage, said sacred. That's how it's supposed to be. I've always not, I won't say challenge, but I always look at it because I listen to Macho Man. DDP's come up with the quote from Macho Man. He said, "Keep your girl in the locker room." And we saw, unfortunately, with DDP and Kimberly Page, but you look at somebody like The Undertaker, him and Michelle McCool got post career. Edge and Beth Phoenix, they got together post career. Now they've, come back. But I think because of the fact that they are protective, not saying wrestling couples can't work, it's just the percentage is so high, it's like high school at the end of the day. And I'm really excited because you get to see the work ethic that they put in to wrestling. And I really think with their personalities, it's going to be funny. They're going to have Black Wrestling Twitter support, and just because, but I think they're going to be, but I think they're going to be funny. We're going to see Montez, I think, go to another level. I ain't gonna say Bianca's peak by any means, but in wrestling wise, right, she's at the top of her game. I think now everything we want to see with Montez as far as that quote unquote singles run, I think we start to see it brewing. Like I mentioned earlier about we got to see a different side of Rusev, on Total Divas. I think we get that from Montez Ford.
I'm definitely down because like Brian put it perfect. It's like you got two charismatic, amazing people, and you get to see them outside of the ring, through the curtain and whatnot. You get to see Montez, and Montez is always one where it's like I want more of, because we get to see plenty of Bianca, but you don't just like Montez is like there's more there that you don't see that has me interested. And then how do you stay a married couple like that on the road, stay fit and stuff like that, and just Brian put it perfect, like the personalities where it's like I vibe with this, and there's a couple I'm actually invested in that I'm willing to spend my time to go watch this and support it.
Right.
Not just because Bianca is one of my favorites, not just because Montez is one of my favorites. It's like you could tell they genuinely really love each other. They fuck with each other, and like they're very, very protective of each other. Even when they're joking on like cold as balls with Kevin Hart, where it's like we know they're joking, but at the same time it's like, yo, I will throw hands over you.
That was his twin, remember?
that was because Bodyguard, his twin.
I'm about to say, if he got a twin, that twin's about to get a lot of attention.
If he got a twin, like, can I meet him? But yeah, I'm excited for their reality show. I'm excited for what they're gonna bring because they are such a likable couple. Even if you don't watch WWE, they are beautiful, amazing couple. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited that we were able to talk about Total Divas and Total Bellas and reality TV and wrestling because it's something that I've always advocated for. I've always stood up for why it was valuable, why it's the catalyst to women's wrestling evolution in WWE. It was a huge moment. It was a boss ass moment for all the women involved. So I will always put respect on Total Divas and Total Bellas and all the other reality shows in wrestling. I think they all bring a little bit to the table. Reality TV is a huge market, it's a huge audience. I think WWE would have fumbled the bag if they didn't jump into reality TV. And if you notice, like they're always on the tip of, they always have their finger on the pulse when it comes to media. And they saw with the streaming service, with the websites, they had web only shows before a lot of companies did. And it was the same with reality TV. They got into it and it was a big show. It drew huge ratings at one point. It followed the Kardashians. It opened up a lot of eyeballs. It brought a lot of women to wrestling. It brought a lot of little girls to wrestling. It brought a lot of LGBTQ plus to wrestling. Not to mention, we brought up Bianca Belair. She quotes Total Divas as showing her a different side of what women can be and represent in wrestling. And she's probably one of the most popular women in wrestling today. She's a once in a lifetime generation. Who knows if she didn't see Total Divas, would she even want to be a wrestler? Like, there's not growing up a fan. She didn't grow up a fan. That's what she saw, and she was inspired by that. So that's very, very exciting to me, and I love that we were able to kind of put a spotlight on Total Divas. Shout out to Black Blood, he's hilarious. But to appreciate, oh gosh,
I mean, I don't blame her because, like, if you've ever been in a boat and you get to floor that shit on like the river or like a lake, that shit is fun as hell.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's finish off. Let's close the fan club with who you guys would cast in a current reiteration of a wrestling reality show. It doesn't necessarily have to be like Total Divas, but what would your ideas be for the current product?
Ooh, that's heavy.
It is heavy.
I saw someone in the chat say definitely Liv Morgan, and I'm gonna co-sign that. I would love to see Liv. I could see definitely like she would shine on reality television.
So if I'm casting,
No, I was just gonna say that Liv Morgan, she was only like a supporting cast member, but she was trending on Twitter because people just loved getting that insight into her personality, and also just that moment with her mom. I don't know if you guys remember that episode. She was saying how her mom was a single mom. She had a lot of siblings, and she never been on vacation. And they flew out Liv's mom to, I think, Mexico or something like that. And it was such a tearjerker. And those are the perfect reality TV moments because they tug at your heartstrings. They're super relatable. They're super real. So I think Liv would have been a perfect cast member for that.
And then if you meet her in person, she has a very bubbly, vibrant personality. She's a sneakerhead that I think like not everyone knows about. So there's like layers to her that you can unpack through reality show. Be like, oh shit, I actually didn't know that about you.
Agreed. I think she'd be awesome. I think the idea of the NXT girls, the PC girls, I think that was like really good ideas.
That's a really good one.
Man, you know who I want to
see? To be honest. Who
do you want to see?
The Bloodline. I mean, I want the whole family. The whole family. I want to see the dynamic with Tamina. I want to see Nia Jax. I want to see, how they getting, this whole run. I would love to see that like cast in reality TV. But also I definitely love the idea with the NXT ladies. I think the star would definitely be JC Jane. She just stands out. We got to see a lot of personality at Wale Mania. So I think, she would be one. Who's another one? And Tiffany Stratton, I mentioned her, and Indy Hartwell. I definitely love to see, her, rise and everything.
That'd be dope.
Sidebar,
But-
let's go fucking Knicks.
Yes. Let's go Knicks. Oh my god. Oh my
Cleveland
god.
rocks. Cleveland rocks. Cleveland, stay home.
TBS championship match is on. Oh yeah, I forgot about Jakara Jackson.
Ooh,
oh man, my
not
team not winning tonight, so we gotta wait till Friday or Saturday.
Wait, what's up?
The Knicks will win it. So my finals with my heart is Lakers Knicks in the finals. And I know everybody will say I'm crazy for that, but
it's
I was
actually not far fetched when you see in the injuries that's happened in the NBA playoffs, and now things are kind of open to where like you don't know, man. You don't know. That's not out of the realm of possibility. Although that's probably like on the lower end of like happening, but we'll see, man.
Facts.
No, we'll see. I want to thank everyone for stopping by TWG Fan Club. We are here every Wednesday, me and the crew, every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. TWG Fan Club is our weekly women's wrestling fan club where we talk about wrestling and other topics, and it's really fun. Next week, we are possibly going to get into celebrities in wrestling. Where do they place? And it's all gearing up to talk about Bad Bunny and him headlining Backlash next Saturday. So we'll be getting into that. Where do celebrities fit in wrestling? Are they needed? We'll talk about the Logan Pauls and the what's her name? What's her name? Girl just want to have fun. Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, Cyndi Lauper. I thought you were
about
about
her.
to say
We'll talk about Snooki. We'll talk about Shaq. We'll talk about Snoop. We'll talk about all the celebrities that have mixed it up in wrestling, where they belong. Do they have a place? Does it move the needle? Is it worth it? All that. We'll get into all of that. Where can everyone find you guys?
Hold on, it's 9:30. You know what that means.
The women are on.
And guess who just came out?
Championship
Jade fucking Gargill. Jade came out. Oh, we're having a title match. Okay.
Yeah, TBS championship match right now.
I saw Jade came out. I didn't know this was actually gonna be for a title with Taya, but we here.
This is where it should end. I'm sorry, but it's time.
Yo.
Oh yeah.
How crazy would it be as we're getting ready to sign off, and then Jade loses the fucking undefeated streak and the title?
Yeah, 476 days.
55-0.
What was
I need her to
number?
lose it. Shit is boring now.
Damn, say it with your chest.
It's true though.
No, I'm so sorry. And now it just looks like an accessory. It looks like a necklace she's holding or some shit. Like, drop it.
Yeah, it looks like the
Dylan said he ain't dropping it. Okay.
We sure about that, Dylan?
But this person, I mean, Taya seemed like she should beat her.
She's accurate.
Actually,
she's accurate.
I take that back. I agree with Dylan because, like, you gotta remember, Jade's also undefeated. If she's gonna lose this title, you're not gonna do it on Dynamite. You're gonna do that like on a and you got a little enough coming up.
But why are you acting like exactly? You acting like AEW's like booking is top notch, especially with the women. Like what you're saying makes sense. I just don't see him using that logic. Like, hopefully they would make it a big moment.
Well, too, it would make sense because it is the TBS championship, and for the first time in forever, it's defended on TBS. Because usually she's wrestling on TNT on Fridays.
Good point. Good point.
She is the queen of Rampage, but not the queen of Dynamite.
Yeah, that like.
Oh shit!
She need to pull up to Stanford.
You want Jade? Yes, because we've talked about this on earlier fan club episodes, Dylan, where it's like it ain't hidden and it hasn't been hidden. And part of that is AEW's fault because if she's been undefeated this long, why is she not going for the AEW women's title? Like it makes no logical sense. Or why isn't someone like Britt Baker or Saraya of that level or Thunder Rosa when she comes back go for Jade's title? And that's where the problem has been, where it's like they've been so focused developing the AEW Women's Championship and that picture, and then it's like Jade's over here with this other title, but not giving it the same love and care and not nurturing it the same way that you're doing with this. To where it's like if she's undefeated this long, why is she not trying to go for the top title and have both of them? Or just be like, you know what? I don't even need this.
Its luster.
Or just be like, I don't need this shit anymore. I am going for the top title. You can have this trinket of a TPS title and kind of like joke on it, like how Roman's going to do the World Heavyweight title on Friday. Whereas like this participation trophy title that y'all going to fight over because you can't beat me.
Oh, chill out. That ain't no participation title.
I'm not calling it participation title, but you know.
It don't have no fire to it. It don't have no fire to it.
Just wait.
Whereas with Jade, it's like she could do the same thing with TBS. It's like, yo, I've had this for almost a year and a half. You can't bring me anyone that's worth like dethroning me. So I'm like, see what Gunther's doing, where like he gets on Adam Pearce's shit, where it's like, yo, bring me someone worth defending this with. Like Jade could do the same thing, but it's like AEW is kind of like P says, it's like they have a thing where 9:30, you know, here's the women. Here's their probably one segment that with maybe
it's the only match
limited
tonight,
time, and that's it. Yeah. And that speaks to a Tony Khan issue. That speaks to an EVP issue, and that speaks to like, yo, y'all not really treating this women's division like y'all really should. But at the same time, WWE can't talk because the last couple of weeks has been, well, this women's match got cut, that women's segment got cut. We had to alter time for this one, and it's coming back. It's going back to the early 2010s where we were talking about earlier tonight, where it's like the women's evolution in Total Divas because they weren't getting time because Vince didn't see any value in that until you had to be dragged kicking and screaming into like, see what Serena Williams is doing, see what Ronda Rousey's doing, see what everyone else is doing except WWE because you rather give them 3-minute matches because Ryback needs 20 minutes.
Give me more.
I don't like how much we brought up Ryback on this show.
Right. This is the most he's brought up on.
We've ever talked
Put
about. I don't know
that
any
in
other
any box. Like, fuck him. He has me blocked.
Wow.
Okay.
Really?
That's how much he's a bitch.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was saying some wild shit during the pandemic and the Black Lives Matter. He was saying a lot of ignorant shit. And he was blocking everyone that disagreed with him at one point. Oh my God, no. That's not what made him block me. Because he put up a poll that asked which promotion he should go to. And one of them was like retire or nobody cares. And that one. And then he had the nerve to say that Twitter was behind it and that it wasn't a real poll. It was like, you know, hacked or whatever. So then he put the poll up again and it was worse. And then I fucking clowned him. And then he blocked.
Shit, Ryback, I got a company you can work for. USPS, United States Postal Service.
Ooh,
there you go.
Exactly, Vaughn. Why would anyone block me? I am a delight on it.
What you call it blocking me? Batista.
I mean, you was saying wild shit as a Daniel Bryan fan. You was talking wild shit, probably.
I mean, I was. Yeah, he blocked me. Edge blocked me. I don't know why. He never said nothing bad about him, but he just went on a blocking spree when he joined the Judgment Day.
And get blocked by him.
Who else? Randy Orton. Yeah, Orton got me.
Orton.
I know I got blocked by JBL, but that was the whole Mauro Ranallo bullying shit. I was like, man, JBL has been relevant since fucking APA.
Ooh. Sheesh. Oh my God. All right.
Then again,
well,
I forget that was it, that segment that he did with like the Mexicans and shit. I didn't forget that either. Where it's like, JBL.
That came up today because I'm sure you guys heard about the lawsuit that's going on right now, and that came up, and then people were bringing up all the other racist incidents that happened on TV. JBL came up, and all of the fucking horrible ass foreign characters, and they're not even the national. Like, oh God.
This past weekend, salute to True Hill Heat for having me on. We were doing a Backlash watch along, and it was just like at random. We were just picking random matches. We pulled up a match: Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon versus Shawn Michaels and God. Like, I finally got to watch the match where it's like, was it this fucking Vince versus God shit? We watched the promo and the actual match. I was like, this motherfucker really had an entire video package of him messing with God. He had God come to the ring. He got jiggy with God. Like that legitimately happened.
Well, the whole thing was too. So it's a lot of ways to look at that one, right? One,
please explain.
No, because when I saw it, I'm like, all right, I'm like 16, 17. I'm like, yeah, I was taught you don't do that. And then like the final Vince was just like, yeah, I mean, if God would have turned out the lights, it'd have been good for business or whatever. But then I'm like, when I read Shawn Michaels' book, the second one, because the first one apparently never happened. You know, he was born again and literally forgot everything he ever did, which it doesn't work that way. But he was basically like, you know, he was okay with everything, which I was surprised because I'm like, you didn't want to say certain words. You didn't want to do. You ever notice like when he would never say "suck it," he would always, "We got 2 words for you," and then hold the mic out. So like I respected it, but I was like, oh, but you went through with this story. Okay, so I was always curious, like it was weird.
Yeah, that was a weird
Vaughn brings up a great point where it's like when you go back on the network and watch certain shit where it's like, I'm surprised anyone let you get away with this shit. And it's just a laundry list of just like, what kind of cocaine were you on, Vince, when you came up with this, when you approved this, when you put this onto you put this on pay-per-view?
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
so Jade retained.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that. It was a skin of her teeth. She, you know, pack or whatever, roll up.
Damn,
not a roll up, but it was something. It was one of
those. We were just like, yo, they're about to wrestle for the title.
It was 10 minutes with bell to bell. 10 minutes.
Isn't that long for a women's match in AEW, or am I just being like hopeful and positive?
I think it's a half shot, but you're kind of onto something.
Yeah. And now Taya is mad. She was about to hit Aubrey with the thing, pick up and drop down. But yeah, what a show tonight. Great
What a show tonight. I really loved getting into these things. I want to thank our loyal club members for joining us once again. Those that are new to fan club, welcome. If you like the show, if you like coming by fan club, hashtag TWG fan club. Let's build it. Let's make this the biggest wrestling fan club on Twitch. Like, let's just make it happen. Next week we're getting into celebrities in wrestling. The week after that we're getting into controversies in wrestling. We have so much that we're going to get into. Seindole will be back next week. Shout out to her. Shout out to Chris B for bringing us on. Yeah, we love you guys. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch at It's Justin Rich. You can find me here Wednesday nights from 7 to 9-ish for TWG Fan Club with these beautiful, illustrious co-hosts of mine, plus Seindole, who is getting that R&R in. You can find me from time to time on Turnbuckle Talk, Twitter Spaces with me and Corey, where we talk things wrestling. You can find me on True Heel Heat Sports and True Heel Heat Wrestling from time to time. Both of those channels are located on YouTube. Like I said, last weekend we just did a watch along for Backlash, going through watching old Backlash matches, the good, the bad, and the what the hell, Vince. What were you thinking? But it was a fun time. We here, we outside, we active. Salute to Total Divas, reality shows.
You can find me at Brian H. Waters on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. This week, make sure you check out Breaking Through Glass Ceilings and Breaking Through Glass Ceilings with new projects. So you get 2 episodes this week. So you also check out today's episode of Wednesday Worldwide with Cal and Ben. We discussed obviously the new championship belt. We had to react to Dip's hot take. We also talked about CM Punk, which we also talked about on The Masked Man, which I was on Monday as well. And all right, we talked about the brand separation, PLEs, you know. That's something different. Yeah, I think Justin might be interested in what I had to say because he ain't like it in our group chat, which is always fun. But
our group chat is lit.
It is. We should have a Patreon group chat. That would be something.
That would be cute. That would be so
But
we love you too, Rakarsha. We love you, Dylan. We love you, Vaughn, Mike, all of you guys. Black Thoughts. We love all of you. Sorry, Brian. Go ahead. You gotta plug your million projects.
I mean, he Hollywood. He gets booked and busy. He's like the Miz. I have jobs on top of jobs on top of jobs.
Hollywood.
Residuals.
No, because you had Batista in there. Batista's not a top 50 superstar. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. So the last thing I'm gonna say tonight is the Wrestling Realm Now podcast. Oh, make sure y'all check out Championship Culture with Brandon, the guy. If you checked it out, shout out to him. This is a brand new show. But that's on the Wrestling Realm YouTube. But tonight we bringing in a good brother, big brother of ours, the one, the only, Dr. D is coming through the Wrestling Realm Now party. So we're excited.
Yes,
you know, we've been rolling with Doc since 2011. So we're excited to celebrate. And he actually put some old pictures on Twitter from like back then. So yeah, at the real Dr. D. So yeah, make sure y'all check that out. We're gonna talk about the brand new championship belt, and we're gonna really jump into it, the designs, and some people say it's the Winged Eagle and the network or the Big W title had a baby. But yeah, so we're gonna do that, and yeah, y'all know where to find me. And shout out to the greatest lead host, the one and only Miss Queen PR.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, we are. Fuck you, yo. Throwing me off, Brian.
Hey, yo.
But yes,
God damn.
I'm sorry.
It's like a smooth fuck you. Yeah, she said headshot, bang.
Yeah, shout out to you too, Dylan. But yes, I do want to thank everybody for joining us again. We love all of you. We'll be back. A reminder: we are going live Saturday with Rest Things, a London-based wrestling podcast. We are expanding our Black wrestling family. Make sure you tune in there. We'll be going live with them at 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. So make sure you join us. Ask them all these questions. Yeah, there's so much going on. We got Black Wrestle Fest, Juneteenth weekend will be there. You got Blurred Con coming up. Yeah, there's like so much happening. But yeah, we will see you all next Wednesday. TWG Fan Club, 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Those Wrestling Girls Twitch. And we will see you.
Peace.
See y'all next week. See you next week.